All right, I think I'm about as ready as I'm ever going to be. I'm sure I've forgotten something, but we'll shall see. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Been thinking it was Tuesday all day, but it's not. It's Thursday, which is nice. Means it's a little bit easier. No more work this week into the office, but how's the head? Oh, my head on yesterday was terrible. Really, really bad. Oh, let me just turn that down a bit. It's a little bit loud. Through my TV, that is. Oh yeah, I was rotten on Wednesday morning. It was quite late when I got to sleep as well. It must have been about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, I woke up with a banging head. My stomach was awful. It was not good. I was in a bit of a state. Let me sort my camera out as well. There we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, I was not good. So tonight I've got just one can of cider and a can of cherryade, which is what I'm going to drink first. Good meeting in the morning. No, luckily I didn't have a meeting in the morning. I had it in the afternoon, but I still had a hangover in the afternoon, which was bad. And it was a demo, so I had to kind of take in lots of stuff and ask questions. It was, it was not good. It was not good. But we got through the day. And no serious incidents happened. But I definitely regret drinking. I drank about half of that bottle as well. I didn't realize I drank so much. I only looked at the bottle the next day. I couldn't believe how much I'd drunk. I think I was pouring them. I think as the night went on, they were getting taller and taller and taller until they were probably just about half a glass of neat rum. It's just so easy to drink. It was good entertainment. I'm glad it was. Also, I stand by my offer to do a collab kind of charity stream of some sort, John. So we'll have to figure something out. I'm going to have a think about it a little bit and come up with an idea, pitch it to you, see what you think. It'd be good to try and find a way to involve both channels. I'm not sure how we'd do it, but I'm sure we could find a way to kind of make that work somehow. So I don't know. We'll find a way. If you two collab, I'll go easy on the alcohol if we do a collab. It won't be fair if I force OSK to keep up with me as well. That would just be mean. I just saw this window out. It's a weird kind of size window for some reason. Let me give you all some points while I remember. And I'll explain a little bit about what I've been thinking about today, which also goes back to what we were saying on the stream on. I don't drink, so you can have my A. Now that's not fair. Oh right, so I have the neat rum and OSK as the Coke. Sounds fair. There you go, some shillings for you all. Yeah, so I was having a little bit of a think about the giveaway challenge. I mentioned it briefly in the Discord as well. So I'm going to definitely do a challenge this month. The theme is going to be base 64 decoding. I'm not going to give the exact thing that you need to do, but I think it should be quite interesting. And it will be a cycle bytes challenge, so it will be same as normal. You put your code up at C000, and you need to make it as small as possible and quick as possible. So I'll use the same kind of wrapper that we've got, and I will produce something that hopefully will be kind of interesting for you guys. So that will be the challenge next month. So what I'm thinking for a prize is a Pi 400. So one of these. Which I'll fully configure with the Amiga, the Amiga thing that OSK was talking about, Pi Amiga or whatever it is. I'll fully configure it with that and a set of games on it as well. So you'll just be able to plug and play if you win it. And again, I just say if there is anybody wants to kind of promote their new game on stream during the month, then I'm happy to do that in return for a copy or two to give away. So if anybody does do that, say they give me 3 copies, we'll give the first 3 the top three a copy of whatever game it might be. Likewise, any publisher as well. So I don't know if Bitmap Soft is on or whoever. You know, if you've got something you want to promote and you're happy to give away few free samples of the game, few free copies, then let me know and we'll do something. Of course, in return, I will make sure I put a link on the bot so you can link to it at any time and promote it during the stream as well. Make sure people are aware of it. Are the rules already defined? They'll probably be just based on previous rules, or do you mean the actual challenge itself? I've got a kind of idea for the challenge, quite a nice idea for the challenge, which should introduce so I'm telling you it's base 64 decoding, but there will be a little bit more to it than that. Like there'll be some it will be done in such a way that there will be tricks that you can use to speed things up. So is this challenge for advanced programmers only? No, not at all. So I will explain base 64 decoding. It's actually quite simple. It sounds more complicated than it really is. It's not that complicated at all. So I'll explain that on the stream, and you'll kind of understand. I'll also give you some links to some additional information on kind of where you can kind of see exactly how it's built, but I'll try and explain it as best as I can on stream when I announce the challenge, and I'll link to it in the rules as well, so you can. I'll leave a link to the actual thing in the rules. But yeah, so I'm gonna formulate that this weekend, build the wrapper and stuff. It will probably be next. So I'm not going to be streaming this Saturday, but I'll probably announce it on a week on Saturday. So on the next Saturday stream, basically, which will be, I'll tell you the date in a second. Hang on, just find my mouse cursor. That would be the 2nd of April. So on the 2nd of April is when I'll announce it. I'll do what I normally do. I'll drop the challenge into Discord beforehand, so you guys have a couple of hours to kind of look at it before I announce it on stream as well. It's 100% described in Wikipedia. Yeah, I mean, it's actually a lot more simple than it sounds. It's basically an encoding scheme which uses numbers from 0 to 63. That's as simple as that, and it represents those as ASCII characters. So there'll be a couple of steps to this, obviously, because the ASCII characters you see on the screen, obviously you'll have to convert them into the correct values, and so on. But it's a pretty easy system. It's not complicated. I wouldn't say you need to be an advanced programmer. But what it will do is it will give you a good chance to kind of practice your bitwise operations. So you know, your rolling and your shifting. Those are the sort of things that are going to be really useful in this. And then just standard optimization techniques, which I think is really good practice anyway. So announce on April the 1st. The next day say April Fools. Yeah. So yeah, the prize will be a Pi 400. Like I say, if anybody does want to kind of to promote their game a little bit, then I'm happy to include those as well in the prizes. So just let me know on Discord or Twitter or wherever, the usual channels basically, if you want to get involved, and we'll try and make that work. All right, let's start the races for you all. So I was having a little think about this, and I have an idea why the collision wasn't working, and somehow I can actually remember. He just ordered one. Oh damn. Will padding chat be equals? Yeah, there'll be padding as well. So just received parcel stars from me. 12 and the flop is a bit crummy, but works fine after spinning a while. I was watching one stream once. He was playing Castlevania. He was having trouble. He says no, fucking hate steps. Oh damn. Talking about that, what happened to the C64 port? It's just on pause. I still have it. I've been thinking about that more and more. A lot more people have kind of gone back through my tweets and found the popular ones, and have asked me what I'm doing with that. I do want to pick it up again. I've learned a lot in the 3 or 4 years since I started that, so I think I could do even more to make it better. So I will pick it up at some point. I don't know when that will be. I've got my priorities already kind of set for this year, so I'm not entirely sure when it's going to be. What the hell is that? Oh, right, it's just the multi bets. I thought somebody was betting like trillions then. Okay. I'm addicted to this bar's cherry aid. I'm sure it's awful for me. Oh, 2.2 grams of sugar. That's not too bad, actually. I thought it would be more than that. I mean, it's still a lot, really. But it tastes delicious, so. It's like cider without the alcohol. I only hate steps if we beats me in Jackbox. So, yeah, I was going to do Jackbox this weekend, but with me going out, I'm not going to be able to stream at all. So I'll probably do Jackbox the weekend after. I will be streaming tomorrow, though. I don't know what time I'm going to start. It might start early. It depends how I feel after work. Basically, we're going to try and complete Terminator Salvation tomorrow. And if we get time at the end, I might load up Mel B, get fit with Mel B, because I don't actually have to do any of the exercises. I can just click through. We'll just get a quick, easy platinum if we've got time. Just get it out of the way so I never have to think about that game ever again. Plus, I kind of want to see how cringy it is. I assume it's incredibly cringy. So, yeah, PlayStation games tomorrow. Just Terminator Salvation. I'm going to slowly work through as many of the trophies as possible as we can on the PS3, 4, and 5. I've not got Vita games yet in my collection. It's something I might do if I can find my PS TV. I might start streaming Vita games as well. What are you doing? I see my cat's climbing up random. There's spikes up there. You're not going to want to get up there. Oh, okay. What have you found? She's found something. She's found something on her desk and she's going to run around. We need to see you do there. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. For a start, I don't have the camera for it anyway, so I couldn't even if I wanted to. The American version has the camera and iMove, and this is the EU version, which just lets you tell it how well you're doing. So I'm going to take the shortest route to completing it, which will be lying my ass off. If she says do some press ups and tell me how many you did in a minute, I'm going to say 100. When I obviously haven't. My grand total of press ups probably for the past 10 years has been around about, give or take 10. I'd say probably around about 0. Just lift a cat 5 times. All right, let's crack on then. So I was thinking about the enemy collision stuff, and I think I just rushed into it so much I didn't really think too much about what I was doing in here, and I think the problem is to do with actually it doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, there we go. The player Y. So I was grabbing the least significant byte and the most significant byte of player X, which is correct, but I wasn't doing it on Y. I was grabbing the fractional value, so I needed to grab +1. I thought that might be what it is. I thought it was going to be on both, but it's just on this one. So I did it correctly on this. I just didn't do it correctly on the second half. It's gone dark already. There we go. Let me just read through what I did, because I did this rather drunk, so I would like to understand what I've done. Why have I put that in? What the fuck? Oh, right, minus. Okay, so this is where decimals. Oh, I know why I did this. It's because Andy was talking about mixing decimal. Control Z. I've closed this since then, so. Okay. So we were checking. Okay, this checks that, and then we check the Y. Okay, so I think the rest of it's all right. Let's give it a try. See what happens. Drunk coding, that's a good excuse. See, this is why you should drink on stream. Then if you make a mistake, you can just blame the alcohol. It's one of those things, don't you find, John, that when you're coding on live on stream, you have days when you just everything just gels and you get everything right and everything works fine. You don't make any mistakes. The code actually turns out pretty good. And then you have days where just every single thing goes wrong. Like you name it, it goes wrong. Yeah, that's still not working, is it? All right. Um, yes, I remember the joke now. I was trying to remember. So yes, exactly. Can't see the wood for the tree, and that was definitely happening to me on Tuesday. Did I do any work on tic tac toe or add anything else? I fixed the bug with the end around. So I was right in what I said, that it did award you the points. What it was is there were three if statements. If you've won, if the enemy's won, if the grid is full, and if the grid is full was basically it wasn't checking if there was a tie. It wasn't saying if either of one. It was just saying is the grid full. And there was no break out of that function, and they weren't else if. So what was happening? It was actually checking all three conditions. So regardless of who won, if the grid was full, it would have shown it's a tie, but you would have still been awarded the points. So I fixed that now. I just broke out of the function with a return when it's done. So it should be fine now. Saw the graphics and it would need some additional love. The new version is such a. Are you on about Chaos Engine? Yeah, it's nice. The thing I saw is nice. I don't know how. I mean, it seems it's a massive undertaking to make that game. It really is a massive undertaking, but it could be done. Definitely could be done. I don't think there are many games that were done on the Amiga only and not on the C64 that couldn't be done on the C64 in some form. I think the skill level now and the kind of trickeries that we know now with the Vic chip means that we can probably do most of it. There's obviously there's going to be a few things that won't work on there, but I'd say the majority of it could be done in some form. Most of it comes down to having a really good artist and a coder who can squeeze stuff out. Wipeout 2040. Was that on the? That wasn't on the Amiga. Come on, was it? Hey, Cosmin. Did you see the 8-bit guy Amiga 1000 already claims this 68? And it's only like 3 times the 6502. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's. When I say Amiga, I mean like a stock, you know, entry level Amiga 500. I don't mean like anything kind of crazy. So, uh, keep looking for a game to port to the GBA. Been tempted to do The Last Ninja. I've written a few Last Ninja engines on the PC. Last Ninja would be a great game on the game. Actually, that would work really well. Do that. Definitely. Oh my god, yes, please do that. That would be incredible. I'd love that in my collection as well. 6502 needs much less cycles to do things than 68K. Yeah, this is the thing. I think there is there's. I think you could do most Amiga 500 stuff on the C64. Obviously, the graphics would be less. Some of the kind of sprite counts would be less, but you could do a lot. You could definitely do a lot. That was his point. Mm. The thing is that the advantage of 68K gives you is that you do have multiply and divide. You do have 16-bit. You have a lot of stuff which makes things easier. So like adding two 16-bit numbers together is a piece of piss on a 68K, whereas on the C64 you've got to deal with kind of the carries and stuff of 8-bit values yourself. Whether or not that would use less cycles to do the same operation, I don't know. Never use multi div. Yeah, but I reckon if you compared that to doing it through a 6502 routine, it would still be faster. It'd be interesting to see. Actually, it'd be interesting to look at like you know, like the graphic compute shader benchmarks that they do. There's something similar for C64 and Amiga. So like adding two 8-bit numbers together, add an 8 and a 16-bit number, add two 16 bits, multiply them, divide them, stuff like that, and just to see what the difference would be. Because you can kind of ignore the graphical hardware. What you're just looking at is how fast could you run an algorithm, right? Anyway, right, okay, let's crack on with this. So, let's try and get this Y section working. So I think we had the X section working. If I just remove this, no player collide. Okay, so let's just remove this, and what we'll do is if we get to this point, we'll jump to player collide. We'll just assume we've collided. So let's just check each bit one at a time. So we're checking the X position first here. My cat's going mental. He's kind of sat on the rug and he's just looking around like manically at nothing. There's nothing there, and he's hallucinating. I'm pretty sure he's seen stuff that isn't there. Bless him. He's a bit of an idiot though, so it wouldn't surprise me. Found the catnip. So I think he found something today because I don't think he's been very well. He's yeah, he's what are you doing? I'm going to show you actually. See how crazy he is. He's being mad. He's being mental. He's being crazy. There's nothing worse, is there, than a cat that schizophrenic induced laser pointer. Yeah. There's nothing worse than you be sat with a cat, perfectly peaceful in a nice quiet room, and all of a sudden the cat just goes and looks terrified, looks into the corner and looks terrified. Because you can't kind of start thinking, what can you see that I can't see? All right, so we're looking for X collision. So this should, and you see it's not. I'm not getting any collision here. So obviously we've broken something somewhere. I say we, I mean me, obviously. Let's go through this routine properly. Okay, so it starts off by grabbing the half value. Yeah, he's just stormed out of the room like his tail was on fire. And then we're moving through this loop. So we store player half X, player Y, and then we move through this loop. And in this loop, we check against. This doesn't make any sense. This should be working. We take the X position of the enemy, we half it, we subtract the player half X, and then we add. Oh, let's get rid of the player padding. Might be to do with that weird padding. So we add the width divided by 2 because we've halved. Is that right? Yes. And then we add the width. No, we compare it to the width. Yeah, I think it might be that player padding. Jump to player Clyde, kill player. Right, okay. This should work. So. I definitely want to do that. That kind of text. I was thinking text adventure, but I'm thinking now it should probably be more like a very, very simplified version of something like Rogue. Oh, why didn't I crash against that one? Maybe that one has no collision. Is that what it is? If I stay there, does that one collide with me? Okay, that fast one does. So I want to test that the slow one collides with me now. No, it's just the one. All right. Just the one. Ah, it's to do with the loop, isn't it? Okay, so the loop at the end here Let's put a jump in there for now. Let's not use a branch because we don't know, because we haven't got that in. It can't do that. So no player collide. Oh, well, that should be there. That's the problem. Which means I think this would work as well. I think this is fine. The loop, branch shift minus, no player collide. No, that should be branch shift minus. Let's just call it done rather than collision done. I think we can probably jump to exit, but I'll jump to done in case I need to put anything else down here. Yeah, I think what's happened is I've just not. All my branching is all over the show. That's all my kind of labels and branching was in completely the wrong places, as it should have been like this. So if there's no player collide, it goes back and finishes the loop. If there is a player collide, then it kills the player and it's finished. If the loop has finished, which is this bit here, it's because I put this branch here. I've probably confused myself while I was drunk because it's a slightly different method to what I normally do. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you imagine like the rogue thing, but you have it so that it's kind of half text adventure, half rogue. So you have a room, and then you have a list of things that you can do. So it might list in the corner some things, or you know some simple commands like north, south, east, west to move on. If there's an enemy in the room, you could fight maybe, and it could use like a very simple, kind of like the choose your own, the choose your own adventure by Stephen Jackson and David Livingstone. It could have a fight kind of like that, basically. But you could also pick stuff up to make yourself stronger. So there could be an item like a sword in a room or so. You could do lots of little things and kind of make something that would work. Ian Livingstone. Why am I saying David Livingstone? That's the explorer, isn't it? Yeah. David Livingstone is God, what's that name from? I can't remember. David Livingstone. That's gonna haunt me now. Hey Hayes, how's it going? Yeah, I think that could work. I think you could probably create, because it needs to be a 15-minute game, right? So if you imagine a game there, if everybody takes the full minute, that's 15 goes you get. So if you had a grid, say 4x4, that means you'd have to work a little bit. And the idea would be there'd always be an exit on one of the rooms on the outside. So you would start on one side, and there would be a kind of grid of 16, maybe not in a perfect square, there'd be a grid of 16 with a door at the end. And the idea is you've got to get through the door, but you need a key. To get the key, you have to kill a boss. To kill the boss, you have to find a weapon to make it a little bit more a little bit a better chance to kill the enemy. And you could have like health potions, or you could have all sorts of things. So wrote what? Yes, Warlock of Five Top Mountain, Death Trap Dungeon. Oh god, there were loads, wasn't there? I had a load of them. But I don't know where I got the name David Livingstone from instead of Ian Livingstone. I remember Steve Jackson, because they also invented the GURPS role-playing system, didn't they, as well? Which was used to kind of do. There was a few role-playing games came out of that as well. I used to have loads of them. I'd love to know what I did with those. They were great books. I actually wrote an engine once to play them. You defined the book in XML format. And it had a script for the fights, which was based on 6502. Of course, it was. Yeah, there we go. We're hitting them now, and I think I need to just put the padding back in because now without the padding, it doesn't quite know where the edge is. It thinks I'm further than I really am. But yes, that's kind of cool. Right, so let's put the padding back in. Yeah, so it was just some really bad padding. No, what did I call it? Player Y pad and player X pad. There we go. Yeah, I think I was just a bit drunk and didn't really pay much attention to this. You kept your look. Oh, Fighting Fantasy. That was it. You typed FF, and I remember the name of it now. Fighting Fantasy. I'm sure somebody's already mentioned that somewhere. But yes, Fighting Fantasy. That was the one. That was the kind of. That was the series name, wasn't it? It was the style of the books, the fact that you always played them with dice. It wasn't like, because you had Choose Your Own Adventure were also a series of books, but they didn't have dice. It was just a game you played. Yeah, you just read through the book and played it, and there was quite a few of those as well. But the Fighting Fantasy ones were really cool because you made a character, you rolled your stats, and you actually played. It was like a little one player role playing game. It's very cool. Fighting Fantasy didn't need I thought it did. Didn't you play it with a dice? I'm sure you just played it with a normal dice. Yeah, they did. I thought so. There's Choose Your Own Adventure, which didn't have a dice, and then there's the Fighting Fantasy that did have a dice for combat. Yeah, and sometimes there was like luck rolls, like you'd have, it'd be like roll a dice. If you roll 1 to 3, turn to page, whatever. If you roll 4 to 6, turn to this page, sort of thing. Yeah, they were great games. I love those. Definitely a big part of my childhood reading those books. Right, I think we've got it there. Yeah, you made your character. That's right. Yeah, because you would roll like 3d6, and well, it was always a 6-sided dice, but you'd roll 3, and that would be like your strength stat or whatever. And yeah, and instant death pages, they piss me off. Yeah, but I think what everybody did was you always kept your finger in the page that you were coming from, so that if you died, you could just go back and make a different decision. There's nothing worse than reading that book for an hour and then dying and not being able to remember where the hell you were. Save stats, yeah, save states on the yeah, exactly. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, something weird. Oh, how did that happen? Oh, they're behaving really weird. Look at them. What is causing that? Let me do that again. Was that just a one-off? Yeah, it's going back. Yes, exactly. Was that related to that? It might have been related to those turrets because it's fine now. I think it's to do with the turrets on this page. I don't think something's resetting properly, or there's some kind of timed routine that's being triggered after the page is loaded, because it seems absolutely fine now. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's good. Right, so the only thing we need to do is we need to make the mace hit them. A bit of Top Gun, I like it. So we've got 2 checks already, so we can basically piggyback on this a little bit. So we've got the player X, half X, and the player Y. We should be able to use the same kind of method to get the mace X, mace half X, and the mace Y. But before I do that, I'm going to go and check to see if we already have that, because we do some checks with the mace. When the mace is out, we do some collision checks automatically on it. Well, not automatically, but we do some. So that cat is just running around like a lunatic right now. Standard slinky measures 87 feet when stretched out. Wow, I didn't know that. In just 7 years, a single pair of cats and their offspring could produce a staggering total of 420,000 kittens. That'd be too many. What's this? What am I missing? What compo? What's going on? What have I missed? What have I missed? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I can think. Clean out your refrigerator. How many fleas can produce in that time? Far too many. My cats are indoor cats. They don't go out very often, but they've still managed somehow at one point to get fleas. It was a while ago, and they weren't bad, but they did get them, and I'm not sure how they got them at all. But we got frontline for them, and they were fine. It's only like 1 or 2, but they were definitely there. Right, that's the cherry aid gone. So let's drop that down here. From Amazon. They caught them off me. Well, somebody said that actually. I think it was my daughter was saying that if somebody else's cats have got them, they can jump onto you. You can carry them, and then they can jump back onto pets again. So it's entirely possible. Oh, he's working on a new 64 game. Ooh. Wait, what happened to Wolf? I thought you were doing Wolf. So it's nice, but it's not as nice as the cherry I'd have to. Oh, it is Wolf. Okay, I was going to say. I was going to say. Yeah, I'm glad you picked that up again. Right, where's this bloody mace? Right, is this it? Yes. Okay. See, the mace does a lot of collision checks because of the way it works. It has to check a few points around it. And there's all sorts of crap going on here. I might make this more efficient at some point. This looks really, really inefficient. But it also doesn't. It's using character collision. It's not using the mace position collision, which is coming from here basically. So even though the mace is multiplexed, it's always in the same position in the multiplexer. It's always at position 2. But it is still multiplexed, so it does get sorted with the rest. But it does mean we can check this value. But it also means that the values are kind of already being read here. Do we need to? I mean, this is a half X here in the accumulator now already. I feel like we could avoid doing this all the time and store this somewhere. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a mace X, a mace half X, and a mace Y. Actually, we don't need a mace Y because we can grab that straight from here, I think. Yeah, let's do mace half X. Let's put that in the 0 page. That should be fine. Let's just check what my memory usage is in the 0 page. Wait, set it on the screen. Oh, is that in the quiz? What was it? Oh, God damn it! This screen is so slow. Wireless windows is wireless window on quiz. Legislate Larry. Oh, Legislate Larry 2. Right. Right. Where was that? 0 page. Already, I feel like I've done way more than I'd done on the previous stream. Yeah, so we've got room down here. Okay, so we'll just put a new value in here. So is there a space related to it that we could put it? Rectangle, no. Entity, explosion, persistence, lookup, no, not really. Collision point, yeah. Player there. Oh, here we go. This looks like a fairly, yeah, there's a collision section here. All right, so let's put mace half X. This just needs to be a byte. And we'll just use that one. Not we won't bother with a half Y. We'll just make a proxy, a kind of alias for that in the file. So mace half X. So if we go into player, so all we need to do is whenever the mace is active, we're just going to store that here. It does mean we still need to check if the mace is active, which we should be able to do here like this. Okay, so now the question is, do we do this in the main loop? I think we should. No, actually, it should be a separate loop. I think so. This done is correct here, because it's a different outcome. Because it's a different outcome, we'll use a different loop. So, so the first thing we need to do is check if we have it. Branch not equal done. So we'll have another done down here, and we'll put a little here. So now check mace collision. So it's the same loop as we've got up here. So we're going to do things exactly the same as this, but we're checking against the mace this time. This is dynamic code, so again, the actual kind of size of the code doesn't matter. And we'll call this no mace collide and mace collide because there's a difference between the two, obviously. And we need a done here to say that we're done. Okay. So that's the very, very basics. We'll create an alias here for mace y equals. Thank you very much for the resub, Hayes. 20 months, awesome. I like the bubble usage. That's good. I like the bubbles getting bigger. That's clever. Thank you very much. Cheers, man. Um, oh, you got another Dizzy one there. It's like the Grandpa Dizzy. It looks like it. The spiral. That's a good one, Steps. I like that. I've still got a few slots. I was trying to fill the slots up on the emotes. I didn't realize there was so many. They added loads recently. I just didn't realize there were so many. I need to find more, fill more in at some point. Right, I'm just gonna close some of these windows because it's super laggy on this other screen. It's really bugging me. It's kind of hard to do anything. I need to keep an eye on things on the quiz and well, mainly the other game actually. Maybe you're diving into Mythos demo for C61, almost making your own top view, scroll the game. What happened to that? Oh, there's loads and loads of reasons. I did have a look at so I wanted to do something along the lines of Don't Starve, using using the same technique as Mythos. So using the AGSP scrolling routine to create a kind of a background. But the thing is, the AGSP scrolling routine has loads of weird limitations that I wasn't kind of happy with, and not being a graphic artist, it was difficult for me to work around. I'm sure somebody good with art could have found a way around them, but there are like weird things like scrolling sprite pointers onto the screen and stuff. So it just wasn't really for me, and I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I had far too many. I've still got far too many half complete projects that I need to go back to. Some of them, quite advanced as well. I mean, there's at least three projects that are very far through. Actually, four. So I've got another project, which is a conversion, like a modernization of an existing game. I won't go into details of what that is because it's still kind of secret. That was kind of really advanced. That was kind of probably about 80% of the way through. There's Parasol Stars, which was probably 30-40% of the way through. The engine was kind of done and working. It was really just a matter of kind of programming up all the different enemy behaviors and a few of the bonuses and stuff. There's Dot Cosmos 2, which had got quite a far advanced state. I was just kind of really lacking motivation graphically on that. The fighting game as well, which is like a Smash Brothers style fighting game, but somebody else has released a Smash Brothers fighting game recently, or is about to release one. So that was kind of cool to see that. I would like to finish that because it had some nice effects and stuff in it, but and then there's like the Mega 65 stuff as well, which I do want to go back to this year. So the one that I most want to pick up is the Pew Pew Doodle one, because it's a completely original game. It's something I can actually sell, unlike the Mario Kart game. But I would also like to finish. I mean, I kind of want to finish everything, but I just don't have time to do everything, unfortunately. I also want to learn 68K. I want to do a Mega Drive game. But getting the time for that is not going to be easy. But I definitely want to do it, and I want to learn it on stream as well, so you lot can have a laugh at me, have a laugh at my pathetic attempts at trying to learn that. Okay, so we're going to make an alias for Mace Y, so we can use that, so we don't have to keep typing this every time. We've already got a Mace half X, so we can use those. This is our loop here. We're going to put our collisions in here. I'm literally just going to copy paste this block here. And just change it to our purposes. So we could kind of reuse this, but we'd still have to do most of this anyway. I think the only thing that we could probably change is not have to do this every time. So maybe save this value and then restore it. Just because otherwise we have to do this every time. So I might look at doing that in a second. Because I don't need. Let's see, if I stored this now, what would I do? I'd be adding. Let's see if I stored it in this function here. Get a bit more brightness on the screen. If I stored it in this function here, I'd be adding 5 cycles per enemy here. But in return, I'd only be using 5 cycles to load that value in, instead of using 5, 6, 7, 12. So I either use 12, 14 cycles twice, so 28 cycles, or I use 19 cycles and then 5, so 20. Yeah, so it's quicker. All right. In that case, we'll store that at enemy half X, comma Y. We could put this in 0 page, but I don't want to use 0 page for an unknown size of kind of thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it here. It's only used in this function. It's not going to be used anywhere else. So I'm just going to put it here. I'm going to put max enemies. It's going to fill it with zeros. Then that way. Oh, actually, is this going to work? Oh, yeah, it will, because if we collide with the player, then nothing else can happen. So we should be doing this and then jumping to exit. So we don't do this. So only if this loop completes do we move on to this section. I missed who that was. Let me check the thing. Thank you for the gift sub to David Hasselhoff. I like it. Thank you, Anonymous. Appreciate it. David Hasselhoff. Good to have you along, sir. You like Team Wordle, don't like? Is Tic Tac? I mean, how's Tic Tac Toe going? I mean, are you winning every game, or have you lost a game? I don't know how it's going. I'm happy to remove a game if it's if you guys aren't that happy with it, or generally it's just not a fun game. Win some, lost some. Okay, that's good. So you've made some mistakes, but okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, I'll leave it in for now. Maybe when there's more games, I will remove that from the rotation. The only reason I put that in is because we only had one game and it was just Wordle, 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 Wordle all the time. So I really kind of want to get the adventure thing in. I might try and find some time to do that with this weekend. It shouldn't take that much. The framework's there, so it's really just what do I want it to look like? What do I want the random level generation to be? And that's really it. It doesn't need to be anything particularly special. Wordle is the hot shit. Wordle is what everybody wants to play at the moment. I did today's in 3 as well. I'm quite pleased with myself. That was an easy one though, to be honest, but I got it in 3. Okay, so let's drop that into. Sorry, not that. We're going to copy this now, and we're going to drop this into here. No, see, this is the mistake I made when I was drunk. I didn't see this here, right? And then this needs to be Mace Collide and no Mace Collide. So Mace Collide, no Mace Collide. And then these need slightly changing. So we no longer need to do this because that's already calculated above. So we're just going to load that value here. We still need to do the subtract, except we're not subtracting player half X, which we're subtracting Mace half X. And here we're not subtracting player Y, we're subtracting Mace Y. So these are the aliased value here and the value in 0 page. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, when we add, what do we need to add? We need to add the player, the mace padding. So we need to have a look to see what the mace padding is. I think there isn't any mace padding, which is probably best. We should have probably got rid of the player padding as well to avoid these stupid kind of setups. But to be honest, it's a little bit much work to kind of reverse all that now. So we'll just go with it here. Yeah, so the mace is in the top corner, so absolutely no need to do any padding checks on this. So we can remove that value here and that value here. We still need to add the default width in. The only way we could avoid this is if we made this routine here automatically add this value on first. So if we did, for instance, if we did this, would that work? So our X position can be from 0 to 320 once you ignore the borders. We're not really thinking about the borders as much, so because we're not working in character space. So let's include the borders. In that case, let's add 24 to each side. That gives us 324 to each side, so 48. So 368. So say from 0 to 368, if you half that, you get 184. So we're perfectly fine to add this this value on here, but this does include that padding, which is a little bit frustrating. Because what I was going to do was just store that value. Oh, okay, it's not going to matter, is it? Oh, all right, I'll put it back. That's a real shame. Because if the player didn't have the padding, we could just store that value instead, and then we wouldn't have to do it in this half down here, in the mace half. But it's fine. It won't be too bad, I don't think at all. Working on 2 games for the Craptastic Compo. Hopefully, we'll do a new record this year with lots of entries. Yeah, I like the Craptastic Compo. It's good. There's some real good stuff comes out of it as well. I don't know why it's called Craptastic, because actually some really good stuff comes out of it. I was quite pleased with our cassette 51 as well. I did worry that when I did the rules, they were a little bit obscure, but I wanted it to be different. I didn't want it to be just another 4K competition, so I deliberately made them a little bit tricky. I think as well, I'd been doing so many challenges through the year already by that point that I'd kind of got used to making kind of crazy. Crazy kind of rules up for things. So oh, that's the point. Did I fix? No, it isn't fixed. God damn it. So the little thing up in the top bar up there where it says last sub and last follow, I don't think that has changed in months. And I've done something somewhere along the line, and it's just cached those values, and that's the only values I can get for some reason. So I might have to have a go at fixing that over the weekend, because I don't know who these people are, but they are the last people to sub and follow, apparently, even though that's absolutely not the truth. Because I can see that Hayes was the last person to sub, and Nick Sapien was the last person to follow, who I didn't say thank you to. So thank you very much, Nick Sapien98, for the follow. Appreciate it, and welcome to the stream. Last sub, David Hasselhoff. Yeah, actually, it was. Yeah, the last gift sub. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. But yeah, it hasn't shown for some reason. I think what's happened is when Twitch did the big change that kind of broke loads of stuff with the API, I think it's broken that as well. But I think it might have been longer than that. I'm not sure. I need to look into it. It's definitely not been right for a while. Oh my god, I've moved something with my finger. It's a touch screen. I went to clean the screen and it's. Ugh. All right, whatever. Right. Okay. So we'll just keep this as it is. I think there's definitely some room for optimization here. There's a lot of stuff repeating. That's not a bad one though. Just dropping that value in saves us a few cycles, and also it's a quick exit as well. So if the well, actually, hang on. Think about this. We need to do the player check first, because if the mace kills an enemy, then it should no longer be active in the list. So actually, there is another check we need to do here. Oh no, it should be fine, because what happens if we kill an enemy? We haven't actually killed any enemies yet, have we? Oh no, we do. We do kill an enemy because we kill it with the. Let's have a look what happens. I'm guessing it's an MSB thing, isn't it? That's normally what I do. Check player collision. Remove bullet at screen location. Kill enemy. Here we go. Yeah, so we store it here, hit points. So we need to make sure that we're only checking against things that don't exist. Otherwise, we're going to die on those as well. Which I just want to confirm that's the case, actually. If I... So this should actually work now with the mace. But I think if you kill something, you can still die if you hit its location. No, something's not built properly. Player has mace. Oh, okay. So, all right, let me put that, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be a bug. So I need to fix that anyway. So we need to do this. Sorry, need to load that value there. And if it's 0, we don't do anything. Which needs to apply both to the player killing and to the mace killing as well. God, so much code. I'm in the wrong file. No, I'm not. I'm in the right file. Not Mace Collide. Mace Collide. Okay, so that needs to be fixed in a minute. But this needs to have this in. And that needs to skip one. So this needs that vise, so no Mace Collide. So branch of equal, no Mace Collide, because we can't collide with it if it doesn't have any hit points. If it has no hit points, it's dead. It's either not being displayed on the screen or it's in the process of being removed from the screen. So same up here. We need to do that, but this is no player collide, so we can't collide. The player can't collide as well. And then we just need to kill the item on the screen. Now, we already do that with the bullet, so we might as well reuse that code. Got to find it though first. It's down here somewhere, isn't it? Remove. Here we go. So this is what happens. We reduce the hit points of the enemy. Is that what happens with the mace? Does the mace insta-kill everything, or does it just remove hit points from things? That's a good point. I don't actually know. I think it should remove hit points, because otherwise, when we get to the boss, it's just going to insta-kill the boss. So I feel like it should jump to this routine here. Which means this really should be... See, what is this? Is this an alias in the top of this? No. Where is that? HP fetch. HP fetch. 1 second, guys. It is insta kills. Okay, but what about the boss? In the case of the boss, that's going to be different. But I guess we can always write the boss with a different routine. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it does kill things instantly. In which case, we don't need to worry about. Oh wait, HP fetches. All right, HP fetches this here. All right, let me just grab this entire block of code, and then we'll. Well, actually, let's do it like. I know it's self mod, isn't it? I really can't do it like that. I'm going to have to HPMSB 0. Okay. Oh, so it wasn't reading the hit points. It was setting the hit point lookup to 0. So what we'd have to do is we do need to do this. All right. So we're fine to check the MSB because that was a valid way of checking, but it doesn't necessarily mean the health. Well, it does mean the health is at 0, but only because it's reading the indirect lookup address. So we're going to have to duplicate this somewhat, but just kind of adjust it slightly. So we don't want to do anything other than set the value to 0. So we just need to do this, that. So that will be enough to set the hit points to 0. But then we also need to do this here as well. So we know set bullet status strength. Okay, so we don't need to do any of this. That's all fine. No enemy died. So branch of equal. Kill enemy. Is that all we need to do to kill the enemy? Do we not need to do an explosion? Surely there's an explosion. Have I just not copied it? So it sets the health to 0, sets the lookup for the health back to 0, so it no longer renders in the list. But I think we need to do one more thing, which is, and I keep going the wrong way. It's forwards. Right, the bullet gets removed. Where's the kill enemy? Here we go. And then we need the explosion. So that grabs. Oh, and I need to change these to Y, not X. The explosion, making sure to retain X. Call clear sprite to remove enemy. Okay, so we do need to do this. I feel like this could be set somewhere else. Clear sprite to remove enemy, but it's in X. Do we need X? Can we play with X in here at all? So this is called from. It doesn't look like we need to do anything. Looks like it's fine to use. This is in the update, isn't it? Yeah, it's fine to use. All right, we can use X. In that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the self mod stuff, but this stuff here, I'm going to put into another function. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go. This is only going to happen once per frame, roughly, at most, if you're hitting enemies. So let's have a look what it's doing. We are storing that value. I do need to restore Y here, but it's not being stored here, so I'm going to put that back here. So it's in a pair like that, right? And this relies on the value being in X, so we need to pass the value into X. So add explosion to X, we're making sure to retain X. So again, I'm going to move this, and I'm going to put this here. Wait, where's rest X? What's here? Damn it, all right. Okay, no, that's fine then. Data sprite index X. Okay, so it's a bit annoying that it's using X and then using Y here as well, but that's the nature of what it is. It should be fine. So let me copy that. We'll go and explode the enemy. Is he not saying who requested it? It's not, is it? I'll make a note to fix that. I did a few things and I forgot to put everything in, so let me make a note of that. Now playing requester. And I'll also make a note to check the last sub as well. Yeah, I'll spend a little bit of time on Saturday. I'm not going to be streaming on Saturday, but I will have a little bit of time before I go out to do some stuff. There's not enough RAM for the heat here. I've never been one to put like follower goals or things on the screen, but what I might do is do like a RAM free counter based off subs or something like that, just so it looks interesting. But it will be dynamic then as well, which will be kind of cool. I don't know. I'll ever think about that. I've never been one to put like follower goals on and stuff. I think it's stupid. But who will put on entertainer on? Hayes and Nicomo, and you've both managed to get it on. How have you done that? I don't think you have actually. I think only one of you's managed to get it in. Yeah, it will skip. I'm very, very easy going to fix it. 5 sub gifts to change. Oh no, I'm not going to be anything like that. It won't be. It won't be like a beg sort of follower goal or anything. It would just be basically a number. Maybe number of bits cheered in the session or something like that. With like bytes free or something. Just so it looks like part of the Amiga OS kind of thing, but an actual meaningful number. I probably won't even say that it's bits. I will just put something in the corner. I mean, it will be bits, but it won't be. People won't look at it and go, "Oh, like that's how many bits have been." Thing. It is kind of brilliant, but I'm still going to skip it. My head is not in the mood for listening to that. I don't know. I'll see how much I can handle of it, but I don't think I'll get through the entire thing. I mean, who put .cosmos on? Thank you, whoever put that on. I do like listening to this now again, even though I did make it. Been thinking more on how to do the Amiga modules. No, I haven't, but again, I'll make a note of that. That could be something I look at. As I say, I have got them playing. They do play. The problem is searching and finding a good searchable source. So what I'm looking for is a way to be able to search with a single search term to find a list of results and play the top result and basically have that mod available to the thing. So I don't know how to do that. I don't know what's the best way to do that. One option is that I just download a fuck ton of mods and somehow index them myself. So I write a little tool which just goes through and pulls out all the metadata from them all, make that searchable. The problem with that method is it doesn't really give you guys a way to go and look for them, and there's a lot of mods out there, a hell of a lot of mods. Couldn't we just make a database off the Amiga modules? I guess one way to do it might just to be have a curated list. Yeah, if we just have if somebody has got a really good kind of collection of mods, Amiga mods that they're willing to share with me, I could maybe do it like that. But I think the problem is I'd still have to index them myself. But I guess I could put the index somewhere on a web page or something, and I'll have a think about it. It's not a huge priority for me, but it would be nice to get a few extra kind of tunes and something a little bit different in the list. So Mod Archive is one I looked at. Yeah, the problem is with most of these things is you need to have API keys, and usually they're restricted to number of requests kind of per hour and stuff. Which if people are searching for tunes and the thing is having to kind of play tunes is not that easy to kind of to make it work, unfortunately. I can't remember what the Mod Archive one. I think it was a limit, like a. No, I think you had to apply. I think you actually had to apply to get API access. But if I can download the whole thing and index it myself, then maybe it would work. I don't know. I'll have a look. If somebody else wants to kind of have a look at the a way of indexing a large mod collection that can easily be shared with people, then by all means we can do it. I mean, I could even probably drop some links in Discord, probably to a text file. I could probably drop a text file in Discord that you can download and search through for the tune that you want, which isn't the best solution, but it might work. It's just, in all honesty, I looked at it for a couple of hours and I just kind of left it. I had it playing, so it can play mods. There is a player built into the overlay to do it. It's just there's no way of loading the mods into it at the moment. Line 668, can I LDX that? Line 668, can you load X that? What, here? Why would I want to load X on that? I'm not sure. Is that the one you're talking about? Ah, okay. I'm not sure why you would LDX it anyway. I'm not using X anywhere. But I like it. I like that you're looking. I like that you're on the ball, Steps. You were teacher's pet a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if you can manage it again. All right, so just to go back to this, here's our Mace Collide. Here we're doing the actual collision. I changed the routine to... I just lose all focus with this freaking tune. So I need to do this. That's it, basically. There's this set carry flag and clear carry flag, which is used when the bullet's removed to decide whether or not we need to do anything else. I can't remember what it is, but there will be something in here that uses that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't handle it. I really can't handle it. It's really off-putting. It's like crazy off-putting. I really try, but it's just impossible. Okay, so we need to store Y because we actually, do we need to store Y? If we're killing the enemy, mace collide. If the mace has collided, then we've killed the enemy and we don't. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Oh well, no, because it might want to check the other ones. So unlike the player death, we do need to check other ones. So actually, this should be the other way around, like that, and all this should be moved up to here. Because unlike the player collide, if the mace has collided, there could still be enemies it could collide with. So if there's multiple enemies on top of each other, we still need to check the other ones. So in that case, we definitely do need to store the Y and restore the Y. So the other thing we need to do is we need to change all these to Y, because Y is our index here. And then what we need to do is we need to load X with this value. So we could transfer it and restore it, but I mean, this is pretty much doing the same thing. It's just one line instead of two. Same amount of cycles, same amount of bytes. Okay, so we don't need to restore the X, that's fine, but we do need to set it to that value so that we can explode the enemy. All right, that should be enough. Hopefully now the mace will kill things. Okay, something didn't work. What was it? Oh, the player has mace. I saw that last time and I didn't fix it, did I? This sounds like Outrun. Is this Outrun? It is, yeah. Wow, I recognise the Outrun music. I'm quite proud of myself for that. I mean, it's not hard, but it's because I had this game. It was great. I used to load it up just to hear it. So Turbo Outrun. Yeah, he is. I wish he would take up the challenge of making a more efficient version of this music, but it's fine. I understand. Right, hopefully that should kill that there, which it doesn't. Okay, but it does kill us. Okay, so in that case, let's put some checks in here to make sure we're actually running this. So if the player's got the mace, oh, this should be branch equals. If the player hasn't got the mace, then we don't do anything. All right. Why was that the other way around in the other one? I'm not sure. Source does it? I've not seen any of those. I have not seen any of those. Are you sure that's not what are you using as an IDE? It could be the Kick Assembler plugin if you're using like if you're using Visual Studio Code, it's probably something to do with the plugin in there because I don't get them at all. No, I don't have any of them. Yeah, it probably is a Visual Studio thing. More precisely, it will be to do with a Visual Studio plugin rather than because Visual Studio itself doesn't do that. I'm pretty sure, or else I'd have lots of JavaScript projects with that in. Oh, it's still not working though. Okay, but the mace is no, it's having no effect, is it? Let's see if it kills any of these. No, I just killed myself. All right. So let's have a look. If the player has mace, if branch of equal done, so it would be down here, and we exit. Otherwise, what do? We load data next into Y. We decrease it so that we start on the last one. If it's negative, we jump to done. That's down here again. Okay. Otherwise, then we start doing some other checks. So first of all, we check, is the MSB equal to 0, the HP MSB? That would imply that the enemy is killed. And then we come to here, and this is the actual check. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put an increment border in here and see if the border increments. If the border increments, we know that we're checking, we're doing the right things. I want another cherry aid. I might have to go and get a drink in a minute and go to the toilet. I've been drinking so much. I've been so warm. I feel like I'm drinking far too much fluid, especially fizzy drinks. I've had way too many fizzy drinks today. Okay, the border's flashing. Let's turn that off. That's it's not good for my head. So we know we're getting into here. So at this point, we need to check these things. Are these things working for us? So we're loading the enemy half X, which we've already grabbed from up here. This. Oh, wait. Wait. That should not be there. Oh, yeah, it should. We check the health. If there's no health, then we can't do anything. We store the enemy half X once we've grabbed these values. So that's correct. So at this point, we should be correct. And we're checking mace half X, which is the value we have already stored in here, I believe. Hopefully we have. Maybe I've just not stored it yet. Maybe I created the 0 page and didn't actually store it. I think I did though. Check mace collection. Yeah, so I do store it here. Okay, so we know the mace half X. We know the enemy half X. So why is this not working? Compare, and we should come down to here, and then if this collides. Okay, let's take that out of the... Well, actually, let's put the increment in here. So now if we're in the same... If the mace is in the same X position as an enemy, so we should see border flashes as we kind of get close. Notice it constantly shows error files within the main focus. It doesn't understand the project structure properly. I really did not get along with the plugin for Visual Studio Code. I just found it too convoluted to kind of set up compared to Sublime. Sublime's not just nice and simple, single settings file, very obvious what you do. Is none of it is kind of hidden behind the implementation, and that's not working, is it? Because that should be flashing and it's not. So that makes me think that maybe the Mace half X is not working. Okay, let's go the long way around then. Let's copy. I'm not sure why that would not work though. That's the thing. This should be working. Is the Y value wrong? What's happening to the Y? Well, the Y is being loaded back in. We're storing it, but then we're restoring it again. So that should be fine if we do need to store it. If we don't need to store it, then it's just doing this. Mace collide. But we're not even getting past this bit. How's Connect 4 going, by the way? Okay, I'm excited to see that. So I might try and get the adventure game thing done this weekend if I get a chance. I've got a lot of stuff I'm listing out, but I've got some ideas for it. It might not be done in one day, but I've got some ideas to make it decent. Just need to come up with it. It's going. Okay, good. I mean, no rush at all. I'm just, take your time with it. Don't rush it or anything. Just eager to see it. That's all. Okay, why is this working? Okay, let's put a break in here. Let's see what happens when we get to this point. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will put a debug statement in here. Then I can load it in the debugger and we can see what's going on there. So that should create a little print statement in here somewhere. We'll go for a quick break in a minute. EAC1. Okay. So now if I open it in the debugger, I can go and have a look at that. Just hitting snag shooter. If you need any help with that, I mean, I know it's not. It's a fairly simple framework, but it's probably not intuitive to anybody but me. So, but I tried to keep it simple so that there wasn't too many calls you had to make. There's only a handful of calls. Oh, that looked really weird. That sprite then. I think because of the way it rendered on the screen, it looked odd. Okay, so let's have a look at EA31. So this is EA32. That's not EA31. What? Problem is, it's not going to show me the source code either, is it? So I need to have a look in here. EA31 is the return. Oh, EAC1. All right, that'd be why. I was going to say EA31 is the IRQ return. So, oh god, my I think I should have had another antihistamine. I'm starting to itch a little bit. God damn this freaking reaction to the vaccine. Not happy with it. It's been three whole months now since I had it, and I'm still reacting to it in horrible ways. Okay, EAC1 is here. Okay, so this is going to load this value in, and it subtracts our half value. So half value is at 98. So that is this value here, which says 0, which is incorrect because I think it's here. So it's definitely not 0. So there's the problem. It thinks that the half x is 0. So why is that? So this is wrong. So what I'm going to do to fix that, because this is dynamic code and we don't really care too much about how big this is, I'm going to go and take this from here and put it into here. It's only a few lines, a few extra cycles at the beginning. We can put it up. We can put it up here with this stuff here, so it kind of matches. That might explain why that was doing that. Okay, so we're going to get a new location here. So let's see what we get. It's going to be like EACE or something like that, or CF. EA. Come on, scroll up. Let's get rid of that. It is EACB, right? Oh, I like this. What's this? User. I like it. It's got a. I don't know. There's something about that kind of baseline I like. It's nice. Yeah, I just noticed it was Proton and Rock as well. Yeah. XXO would be more interesting if you put players in 2 groups. That's a good point. The problem is at the moment the game is very much set up to just be the framework is very set up to be one player. So I'd have to figure out how to add that to the framework without breaking existing. So it should be pretty easy. But maybe that's an idea for the future. I might as soon as there's a second game in, I might take it out for now. But because 2 players would be good, because then you could have all sorts of stuff as well. Like you could have tanks, couldn't you? So you could have a little tiny mini map, and you just type an angle and a power in. You know, like game 32, 50%, and it fires at 32 degrees, 50%. First one to hit each other wins. Otherwise, with tic-tac-toe, I mean, you're just waiting for the computer to make a mistake, really, or somebody to make a dumb move. Because you can back yourself into a corner quite quickly as well if you make the wrong moves. You have to play the perfect strategy. Okay, let's go and have a look at EAC1. Which is not loaded in yet because there's no enemies. So as soon as I go in here, it should load code in. There we go. It's not EAC1, it's EACB. Here we go. Here's our block of code. 98 again. Now contains 08, which makes sense because it's off the screen here. So if we move now, hopefully this should destroy things. Which it did. Okay, I want to see that properly in thing. Do we have the Y check in here now as well? Or did I take that out? No, the Y check is in. There might have to be a slight reduction of this because it seemed to be very wide then. I'm not sure how big the thing is, but I don't think it's 16. See, no, it's not. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's 14 rather than 16. So I need to reduce it ever so slightly. So what that basically means is if you take the positions and you subtract the mace position, then if the mace position is minus 13 to minus 15, so in that case we need to add. I'm going to put mace width divided by 2 here. And compare that to enemy default width plus enemy, plus mace width, all divided by 2. And then mace width up to 14 up here. Now I'll quickly try this out. Oh, I need to do it on the Y as well. I'll quickly try this out and then I'm going to go take a break. So same stuff here again. We're adding the mace width to it because that's what we're subtracting away. We're subtracting away the mace. It's actually the mace height, but it's a square, so it works. But then when we do the comparison, we have to use the enemy and the mace width because we're comparing 2 different size rectangles rather than 2 rectangles with the same size. Windows 11 has got some really weird scaling issues at the moment. I don't know if it was a recent patch, but I've had some issues with OBS since the last Windows update, where the text is incredibly small. In fact, I'll show you now. You can probably tell on this screen. So if you look at if you look at this text here, it's incredibly small, and it used to be about 3 or 4 times the size of that. And for some reason, it's gone really small. I don't know why. I think it's since the last Windows update, so it wouldn't surprise me if they've broken something to do with the font scaling or app scaling. Because I have a if you're on a 1080p monitor, you tend to use 100% scaling, but I don't. I'm on a 4K, so I tend to use like 200, 250% scaling, and I think that's what screws it up. Right, let's give this a try. Let's get rid of that. Let's give this a try in Vice, and then I will go for a quick break. Go get a cherry aid. It's got to be my last drink today. I must have had like 5 or 6 cans of pop today. It's really not good. It's like 2 liters of fizzy drink. Okay. Oh, I died. Oh shit! I hope I grabbed that. There we go. Right. See, that looked to be way too far away then. Let me try and get above it. Yeah, see look how far above it I was then. The X was right, but the Y is not. So let's just check the Y. The track mace Y. Y pos. Enemy. So again, that would be minus 13. Oh, it's because of this. This isn't divided by 2 anymore. It's only divided by 2 on the X because you use half. Here it's not, so it should fix that problem. Hey, Warlock, how's it going? Yeah, but that's the thing, SP. I never had any issues with OBS anyway. I think Go Tracker is probably different, but I never had any issues previously with OBS. So something has changed either in an OBS patch or in a Windows patch, which has broken that. That looks a lot better. Oh wait, where's the other sprite gone? No, something's still not right, is it? Something is off here. So take out Y pos, subtract this position. What is wrong here? It's like the X is right, but the Y is not. I tell you, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to go for a quick break, grab another drink, and then when I come back, I'll try and figure out what the hell is going on with this. Because I'm not entirely sure. Also, it seemed like it blew one up straight away on the screen, and I think that's probably to do with the way the screen scrolls over. It thinks for a split second the mace is over that side of the screen when it's not. All right, let's give it a few minutes. Is the quiz due to come up? It is, so I'm going to beat it to it. All right, so back in a few minutes, guys. Right, back I am. Okay, so what is going on here? What is not colliding properly? It would appear to be the Y position, but I'm not 100% why. Oh, somebody got that clear. Oh, Atomics, yes, I like that game. I did a version of that on Android, which is quite good. I don't know if it's still there, called Chemistry. I don't think it is anymore. It wasn't that popular, to be honest, but I liked it. It was all right. Okay, so this is the problem. We're dropping through to this straight away. What we should be doing is no mace collide here. So if we have more than this value, we should not be colliding. Otherwise, we drop through to this. It's just because we changed the order of things a little bit. So bring all this up together. There we go. That should solve it. So there's still a bug, and I think this bug is going to be something which is on all screens. There's a few bugs where there are sprite checks that happen while the screen is still scrolling. And I think what needs to happen is the screen needs to scroll, then it needs one frame to update before it starts using them. So I might just have to change that logic a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now, but it is something I need to be aware of because it's definitely happening. Yeah, see, that's a lot better. If I keep out of the way of it, I can get fairly close without killing it. I have to actually go on top of it, so that's good. Cool. Right. So the next job is, so we've got player collision, we've got sprite collision. There's only one thing left to do, and that's these passable areas now. So the passable areas are stored as character locations. So in this case, we've got 3 rectangles defined by their top left location, their width and their height. So in this case, there'll be 3 character locations with a width of 1 and a height of 12. Now, we don't have that in terms of the movement of the enemies. So the enemies move by checking, where is it? These values here, these collide values. And this tells us, this is calculated whether we need to be checking above or below, left or right. Whichever one, if it's left, then it comes in here. If it's right, it goes in here. But basically, you've got a vertical check and you've got a horizontal check. What we kind of need as well is a kind of an X and Y location for each of these as well, so that we can check them. I think the easiest way to do this would be to just store a collide chart X base and a collide chart X Y base. So when we do the calculation for these, we store that top left corner. So if you remember, we have something that looks a little bit like this. We work out where the sprite is. So we'll represent the sprite as X's. And then for collision, we work out where this top corner is. So it's up and to the left of the top of the sprite. Then we can use vertical offset to get these areas and horizontal to get these, and they all fall within offsets from this baseline, which is 0 basically. So if we store this, it's a very easy task for us to say, okay, when we fill this value in, we need to fill this in, but we need to check it against the passable areas using an offset of x1, y0, x2, y0, or x1, y3, x2, y3, and so on. So I think we can do that with just these 2 rather than store individual ones for each of these, which would just be kind of lots of extra work. I think we can do it based on these. Because the other thing as well is we only need to do the passable areas if it has some passable areas. So there'll be a check to just see if we even need to do this, because on not every screen we need to do this. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Twonk. Ooh. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's got to be Butch, right? Wait, why didn't it? Oh, because you did guess, not game. Oh, it wasn't Butch. Anyway, I'm not going to get too into that. Oh, you got one guess left. You got one guess left. I think there's only one word it can be, isn't it? Yeah. Schmitz. Ah, god damn it. God damn it. I need to make it harder. I need to make it 6 letters, I think. Definitely need to make it 6 letters, I think. It's the only way I'm gonna make it. Yeah. I can't think of a way to make it harder. I've already removed one line from it, so it's because you're collaborating. It's really hard when you're collaborating. It's yeah, 6 will increase the number of possible words. So 6 just means more letters to make it easier, possibly, but it also means there's more words. I think, right? Okay, six letters, and you don't know if it's going to be German, Spanish, French, or English. That's a good point as well. There could be more duplicated letters in words, so you might see more double letters, and they are a pain in the ass when you get them. One letter, so it's either A or I. Yeah, I think 6. Oh, 6 or 5. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I was trying to think how that would work. Would it work? I'd have to think about that. Original Wordle is 5 with 6 guesses. Which is what I originally had, but it was just like you were winning every single time. There was almost no chance that you were going to fail. So I reduced it down to 5 to make it a bit hard because I want the games to be about 50-50 win-lose. But I think you're still getting it too easy. So I'm going to up it to 6 letters, I think, for the next stream. I need to find a good 6-letter word list. Just to see if it makes it more difficult or what. We'll see what it's like. But you guys are kind of getting it far too often at the moment. Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult to change it to 6. The hardest thing is going to be Steps has API access to the game backend. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm hoping what it does is it creates a more difficult kind of set. What it really needs is more combinations, right? It needs to be so that because then it got down to the last one, and there was only one word that could fit in there, so you got it. But what I want it to be is like almost never gets to the point where there's only one word it can be. You've kind of got to make a guess here and there, unless you use. Although I think you used pretty good words there as well, so it wasn't like you were. It wasn't like you used bad words. You did deserve to win that. You got the words pretty quickly. But even in original Wordle, I mean, I don't think if I don't get it in 5, I'm probably not going to get it, and I lose. Do a version with 6502 opcodes, but you only get one guess. I mean, that's actually not bad. If you had to guess the missing instruction or something, I don't know. Yeah, you got me thinking of other games now. Okay, right. Let's fill these up and let's grab these values. So we need to grab these values when we do the calculations for the collision. So the calculations for the collision are done in the update function. Which is not here. That's the bullets. Is it this bit? No. Where is it? update. So here's the update. We do the collision with the bullets, and then we do this bit. All right. Yeah, so this is where it's storing the values here. But before we get to that point, we know what the top left is because of the screen vec here. So we have char x and char y. You see these values here and here. We know what they are. So we've got these values here. So what we can do is we can store that also at data dot collide char x comma y. So now that value, that top left corner, is being stored also in that location, and we'll do the same here. Can we do store x comma y? I feel like we can, but I'm probably going to be proven wrong because I forget this every single time. Store x comma y, you can't. God damn it. All right. Okay. Oh, it's already in the accumulator. Why am I doing it like this? That's weird. Okay, I'm going to do it like that because it's just bugging me that it's that way around. Okay. So now we have those values. So this is where the tricky bit comes in. So we don't use them straight away. We use them down here when we're setting these values. Now, when we're setting these values, we can mess around with the Y register, but we can't mess around with the X register. The X register is looking through this table here. So what we need to do at this point is we need to know from the direction table what our offsets are into the char X and the char Y. So I think the easiest way to do this, because we're using X to grab it from the collision char table here, which is this, right? This is how much we add to the screen position for each location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call it collision char X table and collision char Y table. And we're going to use these tables to basically work out where we should be checking the collision. And that means we can just pass it into another routine. In fact, we can put the routine here and maybe move these tables into it. In fact, let's do that right now. So this is check passable collision. And the responsibility of this is going to be to make sure that we clear that collision if there's a passable area. So first of all, we need to check if there's a passable collision. So we'll do that before we call this routine. And then if there is a passable collision, we need to make sure that we reset that value. So I'm going to put the collision tables in here, and we're going to work these out based on this. So remember, this is an offset from the top. Actually, is this the top left, or is this this isn't the top left, is it? Oh, no, it is. Yeah, because 0, 1. And this is back 1. Okay, so just to look at our table in terms of southeast, northeast, southwest, northwest. Okay, right. So what we've got here is we've got 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. And then we've got obviously this is going to be 2, 8, 2, 9. Okay, yeah, I see where this is going. So I just want to make sure I'm in the right ballpark with these. So 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, and then this is 7, 8, 7, 9, 7A, 7B. So we need to convert those into X and Y. So we can just look where this value is. So 7, 9 is here. So that's an X of 1 and a Y of 3. So we'll put 1 in here and we'll put 3 in here. I'm going to use decimal just because it saves me typing extra characters in here, and this is never going to go above 3. So that's 7, 9, 7A. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 3. And then 2B and 5, 3. So that is these two on this side. So that is... oh, that's interesting, because this is... We can check these all in one go, can't we? And then store them in the collision tables, I guess. V1, V2. Yeah, all right. I think that's probably the way to do this. Okay, so X-wise, this is 3 and 3 and 1 and 2. So 3, 3... 1 and 2. Right, so that's the first one. So we need 4 of these. we just need to make the changes here. So 1 and 2, it's going to be an x of 1 and 2, and 2b and 5, 3 is 3 and 3. So it's going to be the same thing on that top bit. It's going to be different on this bottom bit though. So this is going to be our y's. So 1 and 2 is 0, 0, and then 1 and 2. So 0, 0, 1, 2. Right. Then this one is going to be these two at the bottom. So this is going to be x of 1 and 2 again. Wait, 7, 9, 7. Yeah, okay, that's the same, 1 and 2. But then this value is different. So this is going to be an x of 0 and 0. So that means this one's going to be the same as well. 1, 2, 0, 0. Yep. And then down here, these are going to be different. So these are going to be 3, 3. Yeah, and 0, 0 on the bottom one. So those stay the same. But these values are going to be different. So these are the y values, and this is going to be 2850. So this is going to be, oh no, this is 1 and 2 again. Wait, hang on. Oh yeah, because it's the same as this one. Wait, hang on. 2850, 1, 2, 1, 2. Doesn't seem right for some reason. Oh, hang on. X. Oh yeah, it's because of the pairing. I'm looking at the pairing, and I'm just thinking these shouldn't be the same. But yeah, that's right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, 3 is 228. So 7, 9, 7, 8. Sorry, 3, 3. Yeah, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so these are fine. Okay, cool. Hope that makes sense to people. So what I've done there is I've converted this table, which is screen lookup offsets, into character location offsets instead. I think the latest Windows patch. Oh, okay. Can you explain what I'm calculating? What here? Is that what you're asking there? What I can explain what I'm calculating there, or are you talking about something else? Yes. Okay. So these are the screen lookups, right? So this is the representation of all the collision areas for the sprite in terms of offsets from the screen location. So we have this screen location, which is we store in 0 page. It's an indirect lookup. So the very top left corner is the screen location with an offset of 0, and the bottom left corner is 7b, because obviously 28 is 40 in decimal. This is hexadecimal. And these are the screen rows offsets and column offsets. So this is what creates our southeast, northeast, southwest, northwest kind of lookups, where we check either the top and the left or the top and the right, the bottom and the left or the bottom and the right. That's what this is here. This is the same thing, but split into char X and char Y offsets. So we never have 0, 0, because we're only ever checking these two, these two, these two, or these two. And you can see as I highlight them, they're highlighting here. So you can see where they are. So the values are either 1 and 2, if it's, how many across it is from this location. So in the case of 7, 9, and 7a, which is the first 2 bytes here, these are down here, right? So they have a y of 3 and an x of 1 and 2 respectively. So we put an x of 1 and 2, and we put a y of 3 and 3. And then the next values are 2b and 5, 3, which are here and here. They have both have an x of 3, and they have a y of 1 and 2 respectively. So they both have an x of 3, and they both have a y of 1 and 2. That's going to allow us then to do the calculations, because the passable areas don't have screen area. They don't have screen addresses attached to them. They just have character locations. They have a character location and a width and a height. So we'll be able to take those values, take the base value that we've calculated, take this base value, add our offset, and check if it's in the table. Check if it's in the passable area list. If it is in the passable area list, then what we do is when we where is it? We do this right here. Is it this one? Yeah. We load that value. Yeah. So when we do this here, instead of storing this value here, we'd store a 0 here instead, to say that there's no collision. So we can do that by basically at this point here, we will call that passable area thing. So we'll do that by, do we jump straight into it or do we do the check? I think we should do the check here rather than jump and do the check there, because it would be more overhead if we jumped every time than if we did the check here and jump. So there's going to be a little bit of code. I'm going to indent it. So we're going to, we can't use the Y register here because we can't use the accumulator here and we can't use the X. We need to use the Y here because it's fine to use the Y, but the accumulator is needed. So what we'll do is we'll load Y with, and we should have passable areas here, which I believe is going to be loaded in dynamically. So is this loaded in dynamically? If it's not, it probably should be. Although no, actually no, it shouldn't be, because then we can always reference it. So I don't think it is. I don't think it is because it doesn't have the dynamic code import stuff at the top. So it doesn't have this stuff up the top. So it's good that it's not. Which is something I was going to do. I was going to make it dynamic, so it's probably better I didn't. Because now we can always check it. So we can check in here, we can check this next index. If this next index is 0, it means there are no passable areas on this screen. Yeah, we did discuss making it dynamic. I'm glad I didn't now. Because otherwise what would be happening, we'd be checking this value and there'd be no passable area code there. So we'd actually have to make this set a flag if it was imported. We could still do it, but as it stands, it's going to be easier to do it right now, right this second. So we're going to load this data.nextIndex. If that is 0, it means there are no passable areas. So it's a nice, easy check for us to do. So what we're going to do in the code here, we're going to load passable areas.data.nextIndex, it's called, because for some reason I changed the thing. And if that's equal to 0, we're just going to jump ahead. We're just going to jump to here. We're going to skip all this chunk of code. I just want to check there's no jump over anything with that. No, we've got it done. Okay, that's perfect. So if there's no passable areas, we don't do anything. Otherwise, we're going to jump to check passable area. Check passable collision. There we go. And what check passable collision is going to do is it's going to start by storing the accumulator somewhere, because this accumulator is the value that we need. So we're going to store that in rest A. This is current collision for that square. So that means there is something. Oh, actually, no. The other thing we can do here as well is we can say, we can make this even quicker, right? So we can say if this is equal to 0, we can skip ahead. So now we're also checking if it's already blank there as well. The other thing that we could be seeing here is particles as well. So it probably needs another check again, but I'm not going to... I think that's enough because we do check that in the collision table anyway. But all we need to do is just... If there's already a 0 there, there's no need for us to go and do that passable collision because there's nothing for us to collide with there. I think any additional checks here are just a bit of overhead that we don't need that will already be checked later on. So what we will do, though, here is if there is additional checks that need to be done, before we attempt to check everything else, we will actually compare that value now to our upper bounds. So if we check, so if we look at our font, we do have an upper bound value already set. But if we have a look at the map base, you can see it's this value here. It's D0, and that should be in our variables somewhere in our constants. Somewhere D0. We're looking. Yeah, there we go. Base number char. It's no end of font space. That's the one. But we're looking. I mean, we could use this, but that's technically. I mean, it's the right value, but it's technically the wrong thing. It's pointing to. It's saying it's pointing to the start of the numbers rather than the end of the font. If we decided to move the numbers somewhere else, that would break. So instead, what we're going to use is end of font space +1. Okay, so we're going to use this one here. So again, we're trying to break out of this as quickly as possible. So if we compare that to end of font space, plus 1. If it's less than that, then we need to go ahead and start checking. If it's, in fact, let's indent this a little bit. Let's start check. Otherwise, we can just return from this function, because at this point, it doesn't really matter what's here. It's not an actual collidable area, so we won't need to do anything else. We just carry on and store it, and the current collision will handle everything else. So this is what we need to do for every single passable area that we do. So let's put that in every single collision check that we do. So we're going to do it there. We're going to do it here as well. And I'll put a little note in to say what it's doing on. Well, I'll do it on all of them actually. So because we don't want to do this if we don't have to. So this is the minimal path through it. The most common thing is going to be this, in that we don't actually have anything to check. It's already a blank space, so there's nothing to check. So this is the most common. So this is the fastest route from here to here. The next fastest will be checking if we actually have any passable areas, the reason we do this second is because we actually have to load a value and then check it. So again, this is a fast way past this. This is the slowest possible route at this point, where we check the passable collision. We could actually extend this a little bit further and maybe do the check here as well. Do this check. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's skip the jump if we can as well. This could probably be macroed actually, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. So it's one for refactoring later. This would be the other way around, and it would jump to here instead. So now we've got a third check, which is are we over any particles? So are we checking against particles? Don't you need to back up Y? No, because we use the very first thing we do when we come out is we replace Y with this enemy index. It's only the X register that we need to store, the X register and the accumulator. Because if we come out and we haven't hit anything, we need to make sure that we store that accumulator correctly. So let's put that in place. So now we're checking 3 things here. So the first thing we're checking is the character we're about to check blank anyway, in which case we don't need to do anything. Are there any passable areas? If there's not, we don't need to do anything. And is the value we're about to check at the end of the font space, in which case we don't need to do anything. Otherwise, we go ahead and check. The reason why I'm doing this is because doing a JSR on an RTS takes cycles. And if we have to do this every frame for every enemy, it's going to be slower than if we just try and break out from doing that as quickly as possible. So we try and put as much as we can in here, and not in the not in the function that we call. Because we could just move all of this into this function, but then we're always going to do that. And the JSR is, I think, 3, or it might be 6 actually, because I think it pushes to the stack as well. So it might be 6 to call and 6 to RTS. I think that is right actually. So jump to subroutine is jump to subroutine is 6, and RTS is 6 as well, I think. Yeah, RTS is it, because RTS is just another jump. It's a stack operation and then a change of the program counter, same as JSR. Essentially, they're doing the same thing on the chip, or they're doing the same kind of work on the chip. One is pushing onto the stack, one is pulling from the stack, but they're both changing the program counter. So that's why they take the same amount of time. So you can imagine this is 12 cycles if we did this every frame, whereas this is 3 cycles. So if this happens, it's only 3 cycles. It's a branch that's taken 3 cycles. So it's 4 times quicker than just calling this. So if we were to call this and then put all this in it as well, you've got additional overhead. So we're trying to avoid doing this wherever possible. And that's why we're going to do it like that. It does make this code a little bit messier, but you need to try and avoid, if you're trying to write optimal code, always try and avoid doing subroutine jumping, because it is 12 cycles every time you do it, which isn't good. So we do the same again here. It's exactly the same check every time because the value that we're passing into this is the X register. And the X register is going to allow us to look up in the table that we just made of values and allow us to do all the calculations we need to do. Okay, so we are at this position here. So this is the table. We've got X. So this is current collision value. Let's put a note in here to say X contains current char collision table offsets. So the beginning of the routine up here, the X is calculated based on that kind of that formula we worked out last week that ended up being way simpler than we thought. Gives us a value from 0, 4, 8, and 12. One of those four values that points to one of the rows in these tables, and then there's four values taken from that. Typo char. Where have I put that? Oh yeah, thank you. No AMK points for that though. No AMK points for them. Part 69. What a good number indeed. Thank you, Trusted Doctor. That's a good first message. I like it. I like it indeed. Right, I need my other slider. Here we go. But thank you nonetheless, Andy, for the typo. Well, not for the typo, for correcting it. Okay, so we don't need any of this now. We will need an RTS at the end though. So, okay, so let's think about this now. Okay, so what do we need to check? We need to check each of the passable areas against our collision position, basically. So the first thing we need to do is we need to work out what our collision position is. So that's quite easy. We will need the Y value. We will need to grab ZP enemy index. Are we using, we are using 0 page. That's very useful. Hang on. Yes, that's actually, that 0 page was a really good call. Fortunately, it's in here, so I'm going to copy this over. It's constant. It's a bit iffy doing this, but it's fine. So we're going to keep that same one because that is going to give us the value that we need. We can use Y, that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to load Y with that value first. Right, so now we have that value. We still need to put this in here. So I'm going to put this as this is our default where we just return. Let's just say no passable here. And then passable would just be, let's just put passable here like this. So if it is a passable area, then we come to here where we take 0 and return. And the reason we just store it in the accumulator is because the very first thing we do when we come out of here is we store that value into our area that we need. Okay, so we load Y with our ZP enemy index. So this gives us our reference into the character table. Does that take up bytes storing the ZP? No, constants are literally just they're just a build time construct. So I've already got a 0 page location earmarked called gtemp2. That's in here. So these are all my 0 page variables. I've got a couple of variables at the beginning of this area here, which I just use as temporary globals, basically. And then what I'm doing here is just creating an alias for them. So even though I'm using the same name twice, it's still pointing to the same memory address. I'm just using the same thing. I could kind of move this out of here and put it at the top of the file, which is probably the right way to do it. But I'm a bit worried about these ones here. I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. I don't think there's too much of an issue. I know that this routine really is just here to make this a bit neater. You could even, or what you could do is you could move this inside here, like so. Then we know that this is only related to, this is now scoped inside this block, and then I wouldn't need that anymore. So yeah, let's do that. That makes more sense. So now this is scoped inside this block, so it's going to have access to all the constants that are at the top here. At the end of all this, do you go back and delete any vars, etc. you don't end up using? if I'm not using them and then I don't need the space, no, there's not much point to it. Yeah, as Nicomo says, there's not really any reason to. If I find I'm running out of space, then yeah, I might go back and delete some. The problem is working out which ones you're not using is actually it's quite time consuming. I mean, you can search through the code, I guess, one by one, but it's still going to be quite a slow thing. But looking at the zero page usage, where's my zero page usage? Where has it gone? I have a marker to say where the end of zero page is. Might be right at the beginning. Oh, where have I put it? I have a little marker to tell me how much zero page I'm using. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so there's still quite a lot. I've still got 48 bytes on the top half of zero page, and I've got about the same on the bottom, to be honest. So 40 bytes maybe on the bottom. So there's still plenty of zero page left to do. No, it's not including the assemble file, but if I was to kind of share this code as a kind of learning tool, then I might go back and change it, but it's unlikely that's going to happen. So, because it is a commercial game for Thalamus, so it's unlikely it's going to get shared. But if I was to do that, then yes, I would go back and change it. But I'm not going to. It's going to take a while to do, so I'm not going to bother. I don't think. Okay, so let's have a look. So, okay, right. So we've got our ZP index. So now what we need to do is we need to create the new lookup, right? So we're going to grab our collision, or is it collide char? Yeah, collide char x comma y. So this is our x location on the screen, and then we're going to add to that our collision char x table. So that's these values down here that we calculated, comma x. So comma y is our enemy indexed, and this is our cardinal direction index, so which is stored in x. So x equals cardinal direction index, y equals enemy index. Okay. And then we need to store that somewhere. So I'm going to store that. It's probably going to be in. I think self mod's probably the best way to do this here. So I'm going to store this in. I'm going to call it SM for self mod char x, and then we're going to do the same with char y. So we can just copy that. We don't need to reload y again because we've already got that here, but we do need to call our char y comma y and char y table to get the y table offsets here. And we'll store that in sm char y. Sorry to think. Cecconoid, yeah. This is commercially planned to sell it. Yeah, it's a Thalamus game, so this is going to be released under the Thalamus label, so it'll come in a nice white box. If you ever got the Hunters, I haven't got my Commodore games in here, but they did Hunter's Moon a couple of years back. It came in a nice little white box with a cartridge and booklet as well. So it will be the same thing when it's eventually done. And then at that point, I do intend on there will be some code that gets shared, I believe, because what I'm going to do, it's not going to be the game though. What I'm probably going to do when I've done it is I'm going to strip this down to the absolute bare bones, so that it's literally just a flick screen game engine that allows you to use all the tools that we've built over the past 2 years to kind of build flick screen games for cartridge, basically. Will it be sold with the cartridge? Yeah, it'll be a cartridge game. Yeah, or do you mean the engine itself? But yeah, it will be a box game. What's that? Is that the? Yeah, it'll be like this, basically. If the actual cartridge is part. What do you mean? If the actual? Oh, you will get a cartridge with the with the game. You will, yeah. It's a cartridge only game, so it will be distributed on cartridge. I thought you need to upload it to use it on a cartridge. Is that what you mean? Use on a cartridge? Yeah, no, it will. It's going to be. So this is Gmod. I'm using Gmod at the moment. I believe there are plans to sell this digitally as well. In which case there'll be an easy flash version of it as well. The cartridge framework is set up such that you can use any of these basically. So you can use Gmod, Magic Desk, or Easy Flash. These are the only two with save functionality. Actually, no, the D64 has save functionality as well. But this game, I mean, while it technically it would work on D64, you'd have a load between every screen, and it would just be it just would not be fun at all. Every time you went to a new screen, it would have to load it in. So it will be supplied on Gmod because that's kind of the commercial cartridge format. That's the one that is cheapest to produce in larger numbers. It's a lot easier to produce those than it is to produce Easy Flash. Easy Flash is quite expensive in comparison. It needs some additional hardware besides the ROM chip. No, Easy Flash cartridge alone should work. Gmod 2 alone should work. Shouldn't need anything extra. Gmod 2. This is the cartridge format it comes on. So Gmod 2 is a 512 kilobyte cartridge with 2 kilobytes of save RAM on it, so kind of flash RAM. Easy Flash goes up to about 1 megabyte images, but this will be designed for 512 kilobyte images. Magic Desk and Easy Flash also has a save area on it as well. Magic Desk is basically quite similar to Easy Flash, except it only has the lower bank, not the higher bank. It too goes up to 1 megabyte, although Vice struggles to support anything that's not 512. And Magic Desk doesn't have a save area. Gmod 2 is the one that's used for Sam's Journey and things. Most of the cartridge releases that are a decent size are done on Gmod. So your Sarah Jane Avery stuff would have been on Gmod. Sam's Journey would have been on Gmod. Most of the big kind of games would have been. I've actually got Thalamus sent me an Expander 3 cart thing. I've got it in a box somewhere. I need to test it out, and a Gmod for writing as well. But I need to figure that out because I haven't even thought about the save stuff yet. So the save stuff's really just going to be for high score. It's going to be for high score and achievements. I don't think there's any value in having it remember the entire game state. There's just not enough room in the save state to do that. Because unlike Sam's Journey, where you're basically just saving have you completed a level or not and how many things you've collected in that, in order to make this work, all that persistence data would have to be saved because you don't have individual level instances. It's just one big level, and I can't save all that persistence data into 2 kilobytes. So this will just be achievements and high scores basically. I can't see much use beyond that. I kind of want to get the achievements. I'm looking forward to implementing that. Yes, you can. I've not looked at how big the persistence there is, but I'd assume it's more than 2 kilobytes. And the fact that I want to include the achievements and stuff as well. But yeah, just saving the high score, saving your achievements so that you've got something to go back to and complete. So you can look at your achievement list, see what you're missing, and you can go and try and get those achievements on the next go. We'll try and keep the achievement list exactly the same as the original game as well. Okay, right. So we've stored those values as well. So now we've got a char X and a char Y. Now we can start looking through the passable areas. So the passable areas does have a routine, I believe, to check if something is within the passable area. I need to find it though. Check return if we're inside a rectangle. So yeah, see, look, it's checking collision char X, collision char Y. But can I do that in here safely? Is collision char X and Y checked before we get to this? I think we can, actually. I think it's safe to use. So we could actually change this to collision char X and collision char Y, because I think there's 0-page things in here. Yeah, they're here. So I need to know where they're being used. I think these are safe to use. Okay, so this is the one that we've just done. There's a collision here. This is in the game. Check. And we check the player against the passable areas. And it's Hero Dev. Hey. Just in time for a game of tic-tac-toe. Let's just wait for the potential adverts to run, and then we'll say hello to everybody. I'm wondering actually if I need to point this somewhere, because we've got bullet checks in here as well. Might not be right to do that. We can change it though. Thank you very much, Hero Dev, once again for the raid. 33 people. Thank you very, very much. And I did not change the text on that tic-tac-toe. It's still overflowing. Let me write that down. Thank you very much for the raid. Were you doing some shader work tonight? I wrote tic-toe. That's fine. That'll do. I know what it means. I need to do that. Yeah, go and check out Hero Dev if you've not already. Another great dev doing game development. And welcome everyone that's come along with Hero Dev. Welcome to the stream on this glorious Thursday evening. It's actually quite hot. I don't know if it's just my house or if it is genuinely this hot tonight, but I'm feeling quite warm. What does it say outside? I can ask Alexa. Alexa, what's the temperature outside? Okay, it says 7 degrees. Yeah, it's me. It's me. I feel like it's about 25 in here. Fair enough. It's just me overheating. Yeah, it was very warm here, actually. I was in a meeting this afternoon and it was ridiculously hot. I couldn't handle it. So it's a very, very small room. And it'd been facing the sun all day, and the room was it was ridiculous. Also, somebody had gone in that room and eaten sausages before the meeting, so it stunk of somebody else's sausages, which was not good. You're in South California and it's 30. God damn you! Even sat with a t-shirt outside for the barbecue. Wow, in March as well. That's brave. Outside in kind of the north half of we sausages are offended. I've got nothing against sausages, but I don't like people, taking a meeting room just before you go in it and eating sausages. It just smelt of sausages. It was kind of off-putting in a warm room as well. And I said the worst joke in the world, which is a clue to what the joke was. I said, I don't like German sausages. They're the worst. I held my head down in shame. It was a terrible, terrible joke. I hope you like sausages, because sausages is all we got. Anyway, right. So I don't think we can use this directly. So I'm just wondering, can we use it? Because as long as it's only in dynamically imported code. No, hang on, because right. Let's have a look at what the game loop's doing. Because if the game loop is doing everything before it does, if the screen code is happening before everything else, we can't use it. Where is the screen update? It's a map. It's map. Oh no! See, it's happening here. It's no good. Oh no! Look, it's happening before anything else. Oh no! But we're relying on player position carrying over to the next frame. Okay. Oh, that's a shame. I feel like this should be. I feel like this should be it, because look at the. Actually, it's not that big a routine, is it? Okay, let's have a think about this. duh, duh, duh. What did I miss? Smelled your sausage joke. Mr. and Mrs. Ploppy, first time chatter. Wait, what? Someone from SoCal using SI units. Progress, yes, indeed. I was polite and converted just before. What have I missed? What have I missed, Warlock? Oh, hang on. I saw it and then I skipped past it again. Mr. and Mrs. Ploppy. Okay. You was polite and converted. That's really kind of you. See, I think we're quite hypocritical in the UK. We kind of moan at we moan sometimes about Americans using non-SI units like Fahrenheit and stuff, but then we use miles. I mean, I still use pounds and ounces sometimes as well. I'm using more stones. Yeah, we measure in stones. I mean, we measure our weight in stones, not kilos, which is a really bizarre. I mean, even the Americans use pounds. They don't say stone. I don't think you would measure in America. I don't think you would say, I'm 12 stone or something. You would say how many pounds you are, right? But we don't. We measure in stone and pounds, which is just weird. It's a really, really weird, antiquated unit, but we do. Yeah, and pint as well. We're very quick to pull the Americans up on using Fahrenheit, but we're just as bad. So we really shouldn't be saying anything. Oh, 12 furlongs, yeah. But I think we only use furlongs in horse racing, right? That's the only time I hear anybody ever say furlongs. I never hear anybody say it like, how far is it to the shops? It's about 12 furlongs. I don't think anybody says that. And you can tell I'm northern because I don't say to the shops, I say to the shops. To shops. How far is it to shops? Gallons come in two flavors. Yeah. Also, the cooking measurements for cups are two different measures. So when I first started reading recipes when I was younger, I thought cup just meant a cup, right? Like a mug. It didn't even occur to me that there were different sized cups in your house, right? Then I find out that cup isn't even based on that. Cup is just a measurement that's kind of roughly about a teacup size, but it's different different in America to what it is in the UK. And they're quite different as well. They're like there's a good kind of 30-40 mil difference between them or something. I can't remember what the exact amount is, but you need to make sure when you read a recipe and it says cups that you work out if it's US or UK, US or EU or rest of the world cups or whatever it is. So that's a weird one as well. And you guys measure like drinks in fluid ounces in America. You say like 28 ounce or a 32-ounce drink. Or if you judging by the average size of kind of supersized drinks in the fast food joints, it's like 64 ounces or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's bloody huge anyway. To quote Parks and Recreation, she says, "We call this one baby size," and they say, "Why do you call it baby size?" Because if you blended a baby, it would just about fit in the cup, and it's like massive. Or child size or something like that. But yeah, you measure things in fluid ounces. It's really weird. Whereas we measure things in milliliters if you're buying soft drinks. So you buy a soft drink, it comes in liters. Even if you buy a can, it comes in milliliters. But if you go to a pub, it's pints and half pints. It's just weird. Paunch burger, yes. Oh man. Parks and Recreation is one of the gems of American sitcoms. It really is one of the best things that was ever created. Because it's just ridiculous. It is just absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. Okay, I'm not sure what to do here. I'm reluctant to just copy paste this because this is in this non-dynamic. So this is in the static code area. So I want to be careful about kind of duplicating this code. An alternative would be to move it into the enemy's code, maybe to duplicate it there, and maybe simplify it for our purposes. But in reality, all we're actually doing is these values here. So what we could do is just change these slightly. In fact, tell you what I'm going to do, because it's only these two places, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Like so. And then what I'm going to do up here is the first thing I'm going to do when I get here. So I'm going to load those values and store them. So now I'm still taking the same values and I'm storing them down there. Now, it looks like this is going to be slow because I'm doing some extra work here. But we're doing one small thing at the beginning, which is reading a value from 0 page, which is 3 cycles, and storing it in a non-zero page location, which is 4. So this is 14 cycles. But the end result is we're going to be now taking 2 cycles off each of these, because these originally were subtracting an absolute value, and now they're subtracting an immediate value. And this is in a loop. So this is going to be 4 cycles, say, for every one of these passable areas. So if a screen has 4 passable areas, then we've got all our cycles back. So it's probably not going to be great on most screens, but on some screens it's going to be comparable. And the additional thing is here. What we can do is we can say we can do check. What can we say? Load the next index. Let's move that down to here so we still escape. So we're always going to add this in, but it's a small it's a small kind of price to pay for being able to do this. And then we can say no self-mod update. So by default, we will carry out the same actions we were doing before in this check. But now what we can do is we can jump to this routine, which means we skip this, which means we can actually set these values directly ourselves. So if we do this, take this location, so this is check.no self-mod update, and we go over to our enemies, we can do our jump to subroutine passable areas .check .no self-mod update. So this will do the same routine, but now what we can do is we can set these values here. So instead of using values here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create constants up here. So these are going to point to these locations in here. The reason I'm going to keep it there instead of putting it just is neater than kind of looking at this whole thing. And if we did want to move it into a self mod within this function, we're fine. But it also points out that it is a self mod. So because we can't see it in this class, it's a good idea to have it pointing. We're having something which says this is a self mod. SM underscore always means self mod for me. Are you still on the tic tac toe? Is this still the same game? Yeah, I might get rid of the tic tac toe. It just goes on forever. It just never stops, does it? It never stops, and the computer is really hard to beat. So I either need to make the computer easier, in which case you'll always win, or I think I'll remove it. It was just I wanted to demonstrate with the framework that you can write any game that kind of fits in here quite easily. I'd say very open to what's that? War games, yeah. That's right. They played tic tac toe in it, didn't they? Okay, so call. Let's go and grab that actual value out of here. Call char x and call char y. So we're using self-mod to set those values before we jump in there. That means we're never going to break the original code, because the original code is always going to reset those values to what they were before. But now we can reuse that code instead of putting it in here. It makes no sense to repeat that code in here when we've already got it in the other place. Okay, and that's it. That's all we need to do. We just need to respond to the result of this now. So if there is, if we're inside the rectangle, then the carry flag will be set. So branch of carry is set to passable, which is there, and that should be enough now for the enemies to bounce around through the walls, through the passable areas, and that is that screen done. If this is works, that is that screen done. Was this game we have to put coins from top to get 4? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing he's doing. Worth a try. What are you trying to do? Trying to put the same thing in again. Should auto fill the last space. Yeah, probably should actually to make it quicker. It's just it's like I said, the reason I put this game in is it was the game I wrote to demonstrate how the framework worked, because Wordle's a little bit more complex, not the easiest thing to look at. Collide chart X. Wait, where is it getting? Unknown symbol collide chart X in enemies 419412. Oh, it's that table. Wait, collide chart X, comma Y. Oh, it needs to be data dot. There we go. Yeah, so I made tic tac toe because it was a much simpler game to kind of demonstrate in the framework rather than. Oh yeah, you're gonna run out of time. How long have you got? You got like 20 seconds, which means no one wins. Oh wait, no, you won. Oh, oh, you won with a few seconds left. That's good. That's good. When it's like that, it's exciting, but it's not good. You know, you have to play it for 15 minutes to get to that point. Illegal address because it's too far. So let's go and reverse that line. 265. Too far, too far. Where is it? 265, 265. Oh, yeah, of course it is. Look how far it's got to go. All right. So we reverse this, point it at a blank label, type jump on this one, put the blank label here. I made that a plus instead of a polar. Yeah, not exactly exciting, but for the last split second, it was more fun than the rest of the game. Actually, Luma could kind of work. You'd have to do a very simplified version of it, but you could have a puzzle where you you give it a grid location that you want to grab and where you want to move it to. Luma could potentially work. Um, I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want some of the screens; some of them would be too much. But you could work. Or Luna. Game up, game down. Oh, crash. Game over. All right, let's have a look. So these hopefully now should move through the passable areas, and they do. Sweet. So let's just make sure it moves all the way along. Oh no, see, it's bouncing off the top for some reason. Oh, what is it doing there? That one is moving along fine. No, they've got a weird bounce action now. Okay, let's see. They're bouncing weird off the top, aren't they? They're bouncing right off the bottom. They're bouncing right off the right. Are they? Well, they're not bouncing off the left because they're not getting over to this side. They're bouncing. They're bouncing weirdly off the top for some reason. They are moving through the passable areas, which is good. Doesn't look too bad with them flashing either. It kind of it hides the fact that they're doing weird. You know, well, it actually does make it look more like they're going behind, even though you can kind of see them through the dithering. So why are they doing that? Let's turn that collision off. Let's automatically just exit this routine. See if it's something to do. It shouldn't be something to do with this because the only thing it can be doing is resetting it. Because we store that value here. Oh wait, it's probably to do with this. We probably need to restore the X value, I think. Let's have a look what happens in that passable area check. Oh yes, we definitely do. All right, we need to store the X and restore the X. So store X. X. There we go. So that's just going to ensure that that stays there. Accumulator doesn't matter, Y doesn't matter, but X definitely does matter. So let's just make a note here. X must be kept. That should fix that issue, I think. I think it's just it stops passive flashes. What a horrible image. Even for me, that's a horrible image. Okay, let's move into this screen. Are we finally getting off this screen? I think we are. Yes, look at that. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Right, I want to see what happens when they get over to that side if I can get away from them. Oh, they don't bounce. Yeah, we did the screen. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That is everything we need to do for this screen, I believe. I don't think there's anything else. I'm trying to avoid hitting it. I want it to kind of go down to the door. So let's. Is it going to hit the door? No, it's not. Damn it! Right. To try and avoid it without killing it, I should have probably taken the mace off before I did this test. So I wanted to see what happens if it hits the bottom down there. It should bounce off the edges. I'm pretty sure we did that. Yeah, it does. All right, cool. And I just want to see what happens when it hits the door over that side, if ever it does hit the door. So the other thing we needed to do was make them move when you hit them, but it kind of does that automatically. Yeah, okay, it bounces off the door. That's good. Try to shoot them when they're in a passable area. Okay. Yeah, you saw it change direction and everything. I like it. I like it a lot. I think the only thing that might happen if they're in a passable area is it wouldn't change direction, but it looked like it still did there. So I'm pleased with that. That means we can start looking at the next screen, finally. Holy shit. So this screen is actually quite simple. There's not too much going on this screen. I think there were some rockets. I can't remember if it was this screen or the next one. I think it might be the next one, not this one. I need to look at the original screen. The only thing that we definitely don't have that I see on this screen straight away is this. Which really is going to be like the other turrets. So we've got aim turrets, which are the ones that are aimed at you. This is going to be a really simplified version of them. We can probably reuse a lot of the code. It will be a new area. It does not destroy. Yeah, it doesn't destroy these because they're not marked as. There's no persistence data loaded in for these yet. So once the persistence data is loaded in for these, then it will. It's just because this screen doesn't have any code yet, basically. But this turret will work pretty much like the aim turret, but it won't have the aim sprite on it, so that will be simplified. And the bullet just goes from here across the screen, I believe. I don't believe it's because there's a homing one as well, which fires like homing rockets. I don't think this is one. So let's start by creating the stuff for this screen, and we can get most of it working straight away. I need to load this screen up on the video and just check what's in these two boxes, so we can put the right things in them. Everything else should. Oh, this is a passable area. This is a passable area. But yeah, the majority of this is going to work. Die away. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, there's nothing on this screen yet. So in order for a screen to do anything other than just allow you to fly around it, it needs to have a screen code in here. It needs to have a screen set up for it. And I didn't look what screen number that was. Let me just load it up. I think it's like 34 or something. No, I'm happy with them as they are for now. I think I've done enough kind of little tests here and there. I'm confident that they're going to be all right. I'm sure there's going to be things about every screen that when I come back to it, because what's going to happen is once I've got the game, it's all about getting it done, and then I'm going to go through each screen one at a time and do some tests on them. But you can see they're changing direction when I shoot them, which is nice. I die when I hit them. They pass through the air. They do everything that I want them to do, which is good. I just want to get through the screens. Once I get to the last screen, then I'll start thinking about going, because then it's a case of right now I need to test and polish every single screen. Every screen needs to be tweaked for performance. Every screen needs to be tweaked for kind of any bugs that might be on there, and we'll squeeze the best we can out of it. But I think it's I'm happy now because the enemies is a really big missing part, and that actually fills out many of the screens now. Many of the screens that we're going to come to. I mean, look at this screen. Look at all the stuff that's on this, and the only thing we don't have is that one thing there, and that's almost just an aim turret. So this should be relatively simple to implement. It's just going to be an aim turret with some of the functionality taken away, the angle fixed to 90 degree to horizontal like this, and a different sprite. That's it, really. It's not going to be much. Hello. Have you calmed down now? Have you stopped seeing things? Have you stopped chasing ghosts? Okay, so let's have a look at a basic screen. So we want to make screen 34. So let's have a look at everything we need to do. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we actually have some screen code to load in. So if we have a look at map, there's a folder called screens, and we can see every screen that we load in has a base part and a dynamic part. Actually, not every screen. Some screens only have this part on them. So screen 3 only has these entities on. Don't necessarily need a dynamic part, but most screens will have a dynamic part, this one included, because we do have that aim turret at the bottom. So we will need some dynamic code. But the very basic kind of system is this. This is screen 0. This is the screen that all screens use if they don't have code. So this is what's happening at the moment. It's using this screen, and you can see this screen has no persistence data. The persistence data is the end of the persistence data is marked with an FF marker. If the persistence data sees FF, it knows it's at the end of the data. So you can see there is nothing here because we're not importing it. So now if we have a look at a screen that does have persistence data on it, you can see it imports a file instead. So this file is generated by the script that converts the charpad. So there's a little JavaScript file that I wrote which converts the charpad file into data. It creates this asset export folder, and this has all the bin files for each screen. So this is all the data that makes up the screen. It also has a map import, which makes sure we import all the maps into the cartridge into the right place. And you can see it's auto-generated. I never want to go in and mess with this. This is just something that's auto-generated. And also sets up any cartridge stuff and any characters that are involved in it. So this is the character set that's used for it. This is the direction list. So this tells for every screen, this tells you what screen you will go to if you go left, right, up or down, or north, south, east, and west. So this is used for every screen. So you can see the very first screen, the only place you can go is down, and it takes you to screen 10, and so on and so on. So this allows us to make sure that if we want to have an area like a teleport, for instance, where you go through a door, and instead of you going straight to the next screen that's in the map area, you jump somewhere down to another area. That's what we can do here. We can kind of juggle around the order of the field, the order of the screens. This is important as well because you don't want to rely on having a perfect grid of map, right? So I used a similar system in .cosmos where the map was not an exact. I mean, it's stored on a grid, but you would have empty grid spaces where there were no screens, and you don't want to have a reference to those screens. So if you've got a grid that's let's say you've got a grid that's 20 by 20, that's a grid of 400 spaces, right? But say you only have half of them filled, that's only 200 screens. So 200 screens, you can store the index into those screens in 8 bits, right? Perfect. But a grid reference that's 20 by 20 is 400 screens. That's more than 8 bits. That's like 9 or 10 bits. 10 bits. So you don't really want that. So it's better to have this kind of lookup like that. It also means you don't have to. You can kind of sort the map to fill the smaller space as possible. You don't have to lay it out in a big sprawling map. You can have it feel like that, but in terms of memory, they can just be sequential in memory, and that's exactly what this is doing. It's making sure we can store things sequentially in memory. Okay, and then every screen has this persistence data, and the persistence data, we made some macros to kind of simplify how this looks and make it a bit more obvious what's going on, but also to help us with some of the stuff later on. So this macro creates some references to persistence data as well. So it creates a reference pointing to this location. So you can say I want the was it this one? I can't remember what the exact purpose of these were, but there was a way of pointing at specific things on the screen using these persistence objects based on these numbers. I think it's like aim turret up 2301 or something. And you'll see that in some of the code. I can't remember which piece of code it's in, but there's definitely there somewhere. But if we have a look at the screen that we were looking at, then it's screen 34. You can see it already knows all of these things exist. So all we need to do is import this into our screen, and all of this stuff is going to work. So that's what we need to do. We need to go and make a screen file folder, and we need to screen file, sorry, in here and make it. So we'll use screen one is a good start because it has the most basic setup for it, including a dynamic file import. So we'll use this one here, and we'll just copy that file. Can I do that in here? God damn it, I thought I could do it in there. Maybe not. All right. That seems wrong. I'm sure you can. Maybe I'm just going mad, not remembering. But so we're going to make screen 34.asm. So it's now down here. We just need to change some things in here. So we're going to change screen 34 to here. This is going to be screen 34 dynamic update, 34 dynamic exit. And this is going to be persistence 34 because we've got that. And then we're going to add our dynamic code in. So we're going to have screen 34 dynamic. And so this is what loads. So when this screen loads, it's going to load the dynamic coding for that screen. So what that means is there's a very small piece of code, which is our persistence data, that remains in memory. Every screen needs to know whether or not those spikes you killed 10 screens ago are still gone. Otherwise, every time you go back into that screen, everything will reappear again. So that's why we have persistence data here that remains between screen loads. The dynamic data, however, is stuff that doesn't need to remain during screen load. So if you move into a screen and it's got a laser on it, and then you move into a screen that doesn't have a laser on it, there's no point in keeping that laser code in memory. That laser code could be big, unwieldy, and it really doesn't need to be loaded into memory. The cartridge does a lot of loading between screens, so we may as well just ignore any code that we don't need and load in any code that we do need over the top of previous code. So that's what happens on these screens a lot. There's a lot of dynamic loading between them, and you can see that here. This is code that's very specific to that screen. It doesn't do anything that doesn't belong to that screen, and you can see there's quite a lot in there. And what that allows us to do is have way more than 64 kilobytes. How big is the persistence data right now? I'm not sure. But what it allows us to do is have way more than 64 kilobytes of code overall in the game, and we just load the code in as we need it. Persistence data. You mean persistence data that we're using right now, or persistence data that we are going to use? So I will show you where the persistence data is loaded in a minute, and that will allow us to build it up. So let me just grab the most basic kind of setup. So we'll use screen 10 as an example. Can I do it copy paste? No. I'm sure you could copy paste, or you used to be able to in here. Anyway, so we use screen 10 because it's quite a small one. It's not got a lot of stuff in it, and we'll put that in here, and then we'll make this load, and I'll show you how we set where the persistence data lives and what it's what we use right now. Okay, right, yeah. So let me just load that screen up. So screen 34 dynamic. So obviously we need to change some things in here. Screen code, dynamic screen code always loads into this location. At the moment, that's just how it is. It doesn't need to be like that. Technically, it can be. It can kind of be in any of the dynamic areas. We have a couple of areas. If you look in here, we've got our dynamic code locations. It can be in any of these, but it makes sense to keep them in this area because that's kind of what we've reserved for it. But these screens can load in. This dynamic code can load other stuff into these upper areas as well. So for now, I'm just keeping it like in that format because it's kind of nice and neat. We've got some set areas where things are loaded in, and we're just going to keep it that way for now and just load stuff in that as and when we need it. Listen, I missed that because of the spam on the Ukraine thing. You left a few tables updated in the screen file. You mean this one? Is that the one you mean? I'm about to clear this one out, so. Oh, you got yeah. I'm going to go through this now. So this is our dynamics code for screen 34. At the moment, this is what was in screen 10. You see here. Need to make sure that that label's right. I need to check on the other file actually that I changed it. Oh, there isn't one at the bottom of this one. So we need these labels so we know how long things are, so we know where they exist on the cartridge. So we're just going to strip everything out of this. We don't want this to do anything. Again, we're not going to set anything up in here. Actually, we do need to set a bonus up, so I'll leave that bonus pod there for now, and we will need to set areas up, but I'll change this to whatever it is. So one of the things dynamic code is responsible for is setting up bonus pods. So whenever we see a bonus pod on the screen, that has to be set up dynamically because every screen, every screen's bonus is different. We can't. The easiest place to store it is in this dynamic code. So we just register each screen when it initializes, registers a bonus pod. It takes the top left coordinates of the bonus pod and tells it what that power up is. If it's already been taken, you won't see it. Theoretically, no, not yet. That's what the next step is. I'm just trying to strip everything down so I can show you everything. The update function and the init, the update, and the exit are files which are called from this file. So these are the kind of entry points for the various screen kind of updates. So the init is called as soon as you load it in. So you clear the interrupt flag, or you set the interrupt disable flag. You load the dynamic code file in this is in the screen init, and then the first thing you do is you load the dynamic screen init. So you set up anything that needs to be set up in there, and then you use these jump vectors here to call the update and exit. These are called by other parts of the program. Update is called every frame. Exit is called when you leave the screen. And these make sure that it jumps to the correct locations in here. So that's all we really need to do here. Multiplexer clear sprites. We're not doing anything weird with the multiplexer yet, so I'm going to leave that out unless it's in every screen, which I don't think it is. Let me just check the dynamic one. Yes, it's not in every screen, which might actually be the problem. We might need to move that into a location where it does clear. But for now, I'm going to just remove it from there. I'm going to go with the bare minimum. Okay, so this is the bare minimum file. Actually, the bare minimum is without that, but I'll just leave it commented. So there we go. We have a dynamic file. We have our normal file. So now the only thing we need to do is we need to actually set that in our map loader. So our map loader is not the loader. It's which one is it? This one. Here we go. So this is the screen behavior, what we call screen behavior code. That's the stuff we've just seen, and we need to make sure it's imported. It has to actually be imported. This is our persistence data. This is our persistence data and a few extra bytes for the standard code like this, the load file. So I'm going to measure this as our persistence data because this is what matters. This is if we're going to run out of persistence data, this is where we're going to run out of it. We still need that other code in there. So I measure the persistence data, including those. We've got 8 kilobytes to use. So we should be all right. I think the last count we were around about here. We shall see. We'll see where we're at when I build this. But you can see here, we've got a little marker in to tell us where the end is. If we need to squeeze these things down a little bit more, I'm sure we can find ways to do this. Maybe with the load file routine is probably where is it? This thing here could probably be turned into some kind of method that can be called instead of a macro. But other than that, they're not that big. These files, they're quite small. The persistence data is about as big as it gets. We do have 3 loading in here, so potentially these could be used. Again, this is persistence data that's pulled in from the charpad file, but we can also add our own persistence data. So this was the screen we were just doing. We can store the enemy hit points in here as well, so that if you start shooting an enemy and then you leave the screen and come back and it's half dead, it will pick it up. So it will know exactly. You'll pick up where it left off from. Okay, so let's take a look then at importing. So we've imported that. But what we also need to do is we need to set the screen in here. So every screen, this is the grid of screens, if you like. So this is where we do actually think of it as a grid. This game does think of it as grid because there's not enough for it to overflow into 8 bits. But what we need to do is we need to go through every screen. By default uses screen 0. As I said, that's an empty behavior that just does nothing, which is why we see none of the things breaking. But what we need to do is we need to turn on screen 34. So I've marked them all with comments at the side so we know what it is. So it's 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So all I need to do is screen 34 like that, and that should pick up this code in here because we've got screen 34, and that should put it in place. Right, that should be enough to load this screen at the very basic level, and we should get an end of map thing here to tell us what we're on. So let's just have a look, see if we can see end of map data in here. So hopefully that kind of explains how the map stuff works. It's actually quite simple. It's not that complicated. It's just we're using a lot of macros and a lot of cartridge loading to basically extend the available memory for the game, if you like, by just loading in what we need when we need it. But we may have to move some stuff around if we can't fit everything in. But I think we should be all right. End of, where is it? End of screen data. 83E2 at the moment. So that's our latest count. So I don't know what that is there. I can get rid of that. So we're using for 1, which is the no behavior. Let's ignore that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the screens. We're using less than a kilobyte, and we've got 8 kilobytes. So if we just go off this and we just make a rough estimation based off this, we can fit. Let's do a calculator actually. Let's put it in programmer mode. Let's put 2 kilobytes in. 8 kilobytes. That's in decimal. Let's do it in this. 8 kilobytes divided by 3E2 gives us 8 more sets of this minimum. But I mean, this is probably going to be fractional as well. So let's have a look. So if we did, let's try it a different way actually. If we do 3E2 divided by B, that will give us an approximate average size of a screen so far, 5A. So if we take the 2000 divided by 5A, that gives us 91 screens that we can use if this average stays the same. Based on the current average, we're looking at 90 odd screens. And if we look at our map, I don't think we've got anywhere near that. I think it's more like 50 or something. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing, is it, in comparison? Let's turn on the flexi grid and set the flexi grid settings. Flexi grid settings would be 40 by 24. Okay, turn that on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Is it 10 across? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so 21, 30, 39, 40, 43, 46. If there's no more over here. Yeah, 46, 49, 58, 62. So we need 62 screens to complete the game, and we're looking at about 91. So it's not bad, to be honest. There's a lot spoilers. Yeah. Oh, there's been well, so far every single secret in the game is being revealed. If you really want to know every secret in this game, you just have to watch 70 episodes, and you'll soon know. Well, it'll be more than 70 by the time we're finished. Yeah, do you know what? I kind of don't. I don't like looking at tic tac toe. I don't even like it. That'd make it a roguelike, yeah. You know where the ball and chain is. Yeah, that is the most. The mace thing is the best thing in the game, actually, in my opinion. Oh, you won? Did you win? Yeah, you won. Yeah, tic tac toe is rubbish. I'm gonna remove it. Seeing the map and getting there are two entirely different things. That's a good point. Um, it'd be a nice map to have as a pullout. Actually, no, because it would spoil it if you got the game and it came with the map. It would be a bit rubbish, wouldn't it? I think. Okay, so let's have a look. So it should have loaded this screen in. So other than a couple of things that don't work straight away on the screen. Oh shit, that was quite hard actually. God damn it, man. That thing is shit, Mace, please. That thing killed me really quickly. Obviously, need to set the speed of those enemies as well. But now it should. Oh no, well, it's not working for some reason. These should be destroyable now, and they're not. So, oh, I know why. I know why. It's because if we look in our screen code. Oh no, persist 34. Okay, didn't save the loader. The screen wasn't loaded in. That shouldn't have built then, really. I don't think that should have failed. I think. Hmm. Try again. I feel like that should have failed. Do I prefer Sublime over VS Code? I've just never got on with the VS Code plugin. It's always felt a bit broken to me. I've never really gelled with it. I'm sure it's something. Oh no, single screen 34. Oh, because I'm not importing the screen. That's why. So that any dynamic code needs to be imported in the cart file as well. So you'll see in here. Yeah, see here we need to import it in here. Yeah, I've just never got on with it. I find this to be less problematic for me. I know some people don't agree with that. That's absolutely fine, but I just prefer the simplicity of Sublime. I get on with it much better. For weirdly, only for assembly. So you said what? You said. Oh, you did actually, didn't you? I'll give you 5 points for that. You've said enough, so I think that's fine. I've not given any points away tonight, so there you go. I didn't. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right. Yeah, I just prefer Sublime. Weirdly, when for my normal development, I use Visual Studio Code all the time, but it's just a plugin thing. I just prefer the Sublime plugin. I think it's more mature, works better. Uh, yeah. Plus, I've also got like, oh, mind you, I could probably port my syntax files as well. My syntax files are kind of updated with things I need. Use VI and yeah. That's a good point, actually. That's a good point, Nicomo. Okay, what's the points like? Oh, you're well in the lead. I'm happy to give Andy that. I want some healthy competition up there. I want some healthy competition up there, definitely. You should store Y and X. Oh, and typo. Just put typo. You got a few bases covered there. So yeah, I'm going to stream tomorrow, but it's going to be PlayStation game. Well, I say PlayStation games. It's probably just going to be Terminator Salvation. Um, Something isn't working. 334 dynamic cart. 334 dynamic cart. Oh, didn't I not change that in here? Screen 34. Screen 34 dynamic. Screen 34 dynamic cart. Oh, I did. Did I not save it? I didn't save it. Maybe. Seems to work now. Oh no. No, it's still complaining. Oh no, symbol screen. Oh, I need to import it as well, right? Where's it imported? So it's loaded in here. I thought it imported. Oh, it's imported in a weird place, isn't it? If we load this one in here, there's an import somewhere as well. Yeah, it's down here. There it is. Yeah, so there's a few different parts you need to import, and it's important to load them in the right place. Pull from Snappush TE. Oh, Warlock's well ahead. Warlock's onto the what would that be? Master System stream. Not massive. The Game Gear. Is it the Game Gear that uses Z80? I can't remember which of the Sega machines uses Z80. Might be the Master System as well, actually. Flags. I think it was I think it was the Game Gear. There we go. Well, hopefully now that screen should work, and you'll see there's not really an awful lot to do in there. Once we get in there, we can set the passable areas up relatively quickly. We can set the bonuses up pretty quickly. The beauty of the engine, here you go, look. The beauty of the engine is we can do lots of things, and you can see how I'm still getting stuff when I'm hitting these. Oh, there's no passable area there though. I still get stuff when I hit them. It's just it's not going to be right. It's going to be whatever the random thing is registered, or probably the last thing that was registered. But look how everything is just kind of working. So on this screen, I believe the passable areas are just this and this. This is not a passable area, right? You guys. Kind of looking forward to the trophy hunting. I really have been kind of I felt a bit of withdrawal today because I didn't have any PlayStation games to book in. So one above to the left and this one down here as well, but this one not, right? Okay. So yeah, so I felt a little bit weird not having the not having PlayStation games to book in. So and I'm not going to have any tomorrow either, for that matter. Although I do have a PlayStation 5 game coming at some point, so I have one more. Have you seen? Yes, I have. I've seen PS1 and PS2 particularly are really bad. There's some PS1 games which are insane amounts of money. Like we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of pounds, some of them. And there's some PS2 ones which are really bad as well. Also, PS2 unfortunately has fucking tons. There's absolutely loads of games in the PS2 collection. It's by far the biggest one, I believe. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm not expecting to get them all immediately, but I will do my best to make the collection as big as I can as quickly as possible. Two at top. What do you mean two at top? Top left and bottom. Yeah, this one here and this one here as well. Could have gone for Hit Squad games. Yeah. If you use collectors.com, don't you, Hayes? You should share your link to your cloud link on the collecting sub Discord channel. I think it's kind of cool. I wish more people would use it. It's awesome. So I put mine in there, and every time I get something, I will post a Twitter picture of it and stick it in there as well. But I'm going to pin everybody who uses collector. I'm just going to pin it to the top of that thing, so you can always go and have a look at what you can go and have a look at what somebody's got in their collection. Oh, you need to put more games in it. Do you do? I suppose it doesn't really work on C64 with the barcodes, does it? Because it's easy on the PlayStation. It's really easy. I've just got an app on my phone, and I press a button and it scans the barcode. I could do like 50 games in like 2 minutes or so. I've got Aldi level kind of scanning skills. Barcodes anyway, some games are in the database. Yeah, that's what I thought might be the problem with the older games. There's occasionally on like PlayStation 1 and 2, especially PlayStation 1, I think they haven't put them all properly in the database, so sometimes you'll scan a game and it will appear as a completely different PlayStation 2 game. So you just have to keep an eye on those. But like PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Oh, there are two passable areas at the top. That pillar and then down from the left of that pillar. Really? What, like in the floor somewhere? Like here? Well, I need to look at that. Oh, so the floor is passable as well. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I need to see that on the video. I'm just going to put those two in for now. If you can give me a YouTube link with the location in the video where that happens, then I'll gladly put that in. But I don't see why it would be though. It doesn't make any sense, other than it being like a secret link down to there. But I'll put these two in anyway. But yeah, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 3 onwards, the barcodes seem to work, so it's nice and quick. So yeah, it wouldn't make much sense, would it? All right, let's have a look at doing the passable area. So the way we're going to do this is nice and simple. We're going to open the map project. We're going to zoom into that area of the map and then count how far across it is using our patented kind of area grab technique, which is up here somewhere, isn't it? Where is it? God, I'm lost where I am now. Come through here, go down. It's this screen, isn't it? Right. So we're going to grab the top left location here, which is 9x5. So that's going to be, let me write these values down. So that's an X of 9 and a Y of 6, because remember we start at a 1, not 0 on the Y. And that's 9 and 19 and 6. So I don't know what they contain. So at the moment, I'll just put top left game corner. No, that is not the exposition. That's something completely different. I can't remember what that is. I think that's like the weapon strength or something like that. That still needs to be coded. Actually, it's a good point. Or is that one the weapon strength? There's some stuff in here which is to do with speed and weapon strength and stuff. This is the screen location. There's no other thing in here. And in the char pad, because the map is, you can see at the bottom it says 160 by 72, so you can't really see where we are. My cat is just lay on its back. And I know that if I go to stroke his belly, he will shred my hands. I'm not going to touch that. No, that's the screen number, that one in the top corner. I put that in because I was getting sick of trying to figure out what screen I was on. Okay, so let's add these bonus pods in first, and then we'll do the passable areas. So bonus pods, simply like this. We put the location in and what it is. So like I say, the bonus pods will work even if you don't have anything in them. But I'm going to, even if you don't do this, it's just it will spawn something completely random. I don't know what it is that it spawns actually. And then this needs to be 19. 6. So I'm just going to put speed in for now, and I'll work out what they are. Unless somebody knows exactly what those things are, we can put them in. Hey, Microman, how's it going? Just winding down. I'm going to do probably about another half an hour. I'm just going to set a few things up on this screen, maybe a bit less than half an hour, but I just want to set this screen up so that we're ready to start on the next screen. The moment I get to the point where I can't add anything else in without writing a massive chunk of code, then I'll wait. Like, for instance, the new turret. But the new turret should be simple, but I'm not going to do it on this stream. Actually, let's just bring up the video for this screen. Let's have a quick look at it. So, Cecconoid. We want the playthrough of it on video. Trailer, no, not the trailer. We want the actual play. Let's play. 20 minutes long. Gameplay taster. Gameplay. Is there a long play of this? There's got to be a long play of it somewhere. Oh, there we go. This might do it. Play it later.
Greetings, everyone.
Oh, tell you what I do have. Tell you what I do have for sure. I have got somewhere in my videos folder. Where is it? Playthroughs. Skype. So I've got Andy. Andy did a video of it on Skype. Let me just mute it. That's the thing. So Thalamus Andy played through this, and I recorded it while he was playing it, so I could see everything. So let's just forward through to it a little bit. Okay, so here we go. So it doesn't look like you can get through the floor there. It does kind of sink into the floor a little bit, but I don't think you can get through it. Don't know what he's saying there. He seems to be saying something. Let's just have a listen to what he's saying. Okay, so there are rockets on this side, and there are enemies here as well. Okay. So, just having a look at that. Can we fit them in to this screen? Let me restart on screen 34. So let's just have a quick look at that. Let's go to player. Oh, no, it's game loop, isn't it? I need first to set where's the initial screen? Game loop, there we go. Screen 34. So we started on screen 17. So this needs to be 22. And this is going to start me in a weird place, isn't it? So I need to kind of move over to spawn Y. Let's move up a bit like that. It should kind of put us. That might not be far enough, actually. Let's move there like that. There we go. So I'm not sure those rockets are going to fit. We might have to reduce the number. No, so they're not going to fit. So what I'm going to suggest, because looking at the video, they take up like there's is there 4 rockets there? I think there's like 4 rockets there. Okay, so when do they trigger is the point. So there's 3 rockets. So there are 3 spaces on that side. So we've got space for, I would say these 2 here might need removing. This might need just trimming a little bit. Or actually, if we were to move these over, get rid of these ones here and just put 1 here and remove that one, that would match a bit better and then give us room for 3 rockets there as well. Okay, so there's a couple of things we need to do in this. Do 3 and move to the left. So what I'm suggesting, and I will share this with Andy later, is because this is quite easy for me to change, right? So what I'm suggesting is we move these here and that one there. Yeah. Oh, damn it. I put Cosmos again. And instead put like that. So it is kind of the same pattern that these are being blocked. These enemies are being blocked in here, but now we've got room to put 3 rockets here, or two rockets maybe, because this is smaller as well at the top because they explode against. Oh no, it's not smaller. It's about the same size. Yeah, I think this would work still. They still explode up here. 3 rockets. Think about this from a multiplexer point of view, right? So worst case scenario is that these 3 and these 3 line up at the same time, but these trigger as soon as you come in the screen. So these immediately set off. We're not triggering them because we're in line with them. They just immediately fire as soon as you come in. So they're going to move away from the potential of kind of glitching against these before they get a chance to glitch. So I think it's fine to put 3 here. And these 3 bouncing around in here. So how many are going to be bouncing around here? 3. Ignore these because they'll have exploded up here. Plus this bullet here. This bullet can be a sprite as well. So that gives us 4 sprites here, because this is just going to use the same turret mechanism that we had on the other screen. Okay, cool. So I think that's probably fine like that. So I'll save that and we'll use that. All right. In terms of bonuses, what bonuses do we see on this screen? Do we get a chance to see them? Okay, so we've got double shot and is that speed? That's speed, isn't it, that one? So the first one is a speed and the second one is a weapon. All right, that's easy enough to do. So we have in here power up speed. That's correct. That's what we want. And tell me your own use this fact. Shakespeare spelled his own name several different ways. When drunk, yeah. Okay, and so we just need the power. I can't remember where these are defined, so I need to go and find these. There'll be a constant file somewhere, I'm sure, with them all in. Here we go. Oh, it's in here. Okay, so shot 2 is what we need for the other one. Okay, so that is in here. Right, so that gives us the correct items in those containers. So the other thing we need to do is register passable areas. So if we look at the screen we just came from, screen 24, we have passable areas defined in here. So let me just grab those and put them in here. We can go and have a quick look at how these are defined. Personally, I can't remember how they're defined, so I'm going to have to go and look up the screen macro. Passable area. Okay, so passable area is... Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, it's quite simple. All right, so I have an X and a Y location, character-wise. So this is these two here. We have a width and a height, which is a width in characters, and then we have the size of the mask. So there are 3 sizes of mask. There's let's say this pushing is really annoying me. It's all skew width. Let me set that up. Oh, I've got it upside down. That's why. Upside down, and all the cushions been pulled out and everything. There we go. Should be comfortable there. Okay, yeah, that's better. The reason why this is separate from this width here is because you can have a passable area that's really, really wide, but the mask only ever needs to be 3 wide at the most. So the mask is going to be 1, 2, or 3 wide, and that's the reason we need that is because some of the calculations in it are a little bit different when you have a thinner mask, because we need to be able to be seen to be coming in one side and out the other side in the case of a very thin mask. So we've got at least 2 passable areas. I don't think the other one, that one isn't, is it? So let's just have a look. I don't think it is. Laser thing. Yeah. Okay, so there's a little animation on this, which is a little bit different. But we can use character animations for that. Is he going to go over here? Please go over there. I don't think that is a passable area. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so it's just these 2 that are passable areas. Okay, so again, we need the X and Y positions of those. So we're going to go and grab these on here. So this is the top position here, which is 15 by 3. So again, I'm going to write these down because they are slightly different to what I see. It's always add 1 to the Y because we have the HUD up at the top, which takes up the first row. And this one here is 3117. And then in terms of width and height, we've got width of 2 and a height of 4. And this one's going to be a width of 2 and a height of 8 or 10, I think. 2 and 6. That doesn't make any sense. 2. Oh, yeah. I'm really not seeing that right. I don't know why I thought 10 then. Learn how to braid French braid hair. Wow, you must be really bored if that's going to be your go-to thing. Okay, let's put those in. So you can see how the time we've taken to get this far is paying off now, because it's really easy for us to add these things into each screen with very little code. It's all these macros are handling everything for us. The mask quote's too wide. Is that all we need to do? I think we might need to do some updates on screens with these. So we're just going to have a look at passable area, see if we need to do anything in passable area. We do. We need to do jump to passable area update. We are going to need to load enemies into this screen as well, so that will be something that we do. So, but for now, let's just do the passable areas. Do we need to do bonus updates? No. Do we need to do anything in exit? No. Okay, so just for passable areas, that should be enough. I'm going to put the enemy update in here and just comment it out. We can't call it right now because we haven't loaded that code in dynamically. So the other thing we would do in here is we would set up the enemies as well, which we can do in a minute as well, I guess. I have no hair. Yeah, I need to cut my hair. Every time I look in the mirror, I see all these individual single hairs sticking up. It looks terrible. It looks really, really bad. Hopefully this screen should, in theory, all run well now. Well, the passable areas and bonuses anyway. So let's have a look at the bonus. Okay, no, that bonus wasn't right, actually. That should have been a speed. Oh, and the passable area isn't right either. So I don't think it's built correctly. I think something's gone wrong here. Or I didn't save the file or some shit. No, it should be. Oh no. Okay, so passable areas and possibly bonuses as well don't work until you come back into that screen. So let's have a look. Can I come into this screen from the bottom? What's below us? Yeah. So if we just load into screen 44 to begin with, and come up to that screen, it should be a bit easier. So let's start on 44. So it's going to be 2C. What the hell is that? Dibi Yazi Achi Sinil Sin. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, but they're all going to be words in the next Wordle. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll finish quite soon. I am feeling a little bit tired, actually. Let's just get these passable areas worked. Oh, so it's not working. Why is that passable area not working? I feel like it's not running that code for some reason. Have I not? Maybe I'm not loading the right code in. Hang on, 34 update, 34 dynamic init, 34 dynamic init. William Shakespeare. Oh, okay. That's what it is. Let me just increase the border here. I just want to make sure this is running because I feel like it's not running at all. Because this should be all working fine, and for some reason it's not. I can only imagine that I've missed something here. But it should be initializing it or running it, and it's not. Yeah, it's something's gone wrong here. We'll scroll through all this freaking crap to find it. Because there's so fucking much of it now. No, it seems to be right. What the hell? Hang on, did that file save? Yeah, I saved that file. That should create new persistence data. This should all work. I'm not sure what's. Okay, I'm not going to spend too long on this if it doesn't work. Call update. Yeah, the update's being called. No, well, I think it is. That's why I've just added the thing in for the increased bordering just to see that it is. You put pussy in. You put that in. Oh man, you guys. I want to see who did that. Who's the culprit? It was Hayes. Of course it was. Oh, he who codes naked staring at the orange moon. Wow, I've not coded naked yet. Okay, so it is getting into the init function. So why isn't it initializing these areas then? What am I doing wrong here? Let's have a look at another passable area code, see if I'm doing something incorrect here. Okay, so persistence wise, I don't need to load anything extra in. That's fine. Okay, there's nothing related to the passable areas in that bit. It's only in the dynamic code here. Oh, I forgot about the script. This is good stuff, isn't it, as well, the screen scripts. Is there any reason to do the screen scripts here? No, there isn't. Is there really? Nothing in here. Passable areas update, exit, screen 34. It's doing this, but it's not doing this for some reason. Is it doing this? Let's put this in here. Maybe it is doing it, and I'm not realizing it. Or maybe this is failing or something. Width and height, X and Y. This might be one for next time. I'm not going to spend too long do this. No, nothing is wrong with it, but just trust you to be the one that put that in. See, this is what I rely on with Wordle is somebody wasting the letters. So this is hard now. You've got a almost impossible task now. It is an almost impossible task. This you've got to work out. Yeah, I mean, what was the word? Sauna. Okay, so the update's happening, but it's not detecting those passable areas. Okay, I think this is one for next time. It might be that it's not resetting the passable areas correctly as well. But I think I'm going to do this next time. I don't want to. Let me just have a look at another screen with passable areas. There is one in here. Passable areas update. Yeah, there's no other update in here. There's nothing in the exit or anything. But I can definitely get down to that. All right, I think it's one for next time. I'm gonna stop there. I think. Yeah, steps. Yeah, steps. All right, let's go and have a look at someone to raid. I think I've done enough as I can tonight. My cats are kind of bugging me. I think they want something to eat. It's late, but I've been out all day. They can have an extra bit of extra food. Let's find someone to raid. We'll continue this on the next year. I'm really happy with what we've managed tonight, though. I'm really pleased with that. Let's see who's available. Noodles on, Hungry's on, Duke's on. Let's raid Duke. We've not raided Duke for a while. What's he? It looks like he's reading old magazines at the moment. What is that? I see Auric 1, Sinclair ZX81. Yes, let's raid Duke. All right, cool, guys. As I say, I'll be streaming tomorrow. It's going to be PlayStation games, so it's not going to be any coding. It might start a little bit early. I might start like an hour early at 7:30. No guarantees on that. I'll let you know in the Discord channel. But we will try and finish Terminator Salvation tomorrow night. So it will. It should be possible to complete it in the night if I don't get too drunk. If I end up with one eye closed and can barely understand what I'm doing, then maybe not. But if we can finish it in a night, that'd be great. Get the platinum and move on to another game. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming along. Say hi to Duke, and hope to see you tomorrow and Saturday. Oh no, I'm not streaming on Saturday. Remember, no Saturday stream this week. I'm off out. I'm off at. Not just a hat. I'm going at. All right, take care, guys. See you later.
Challenge.